You'll have job loss, but then you'll have job creation as well too. But the thing is, though, my issue with Uber purchasing these vehicles, that's a very large expense, depreciating expense, and a large liability as well too. I think what's really good for Uber is that they don't own any of their vehicles.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
They don't own any vehicles,
great point.
right?
Yep.
So they don't have that depreciating expense of the actual vehicle itself.
Well said, Joey.
With the maintenance involved as well, wear and
All
tear.
right, something's going on with SoFi. Everybody's yelling about SoFi. We're going to have a look here quickly to see what's going on. Allow me a minute. I got to pull up my chart. Here we go, SOFI. What do we got? We're dropping bigly here on SoFi. I don't have any news. I just see the thing that says price spike down. So we'll steer clear for that for a second. But I do see it, guys, on SoFi. Big move down. As soon as we have that, we will give that to you guys. But now, it is 1 minute overtime. So we're going to send you over to the big boys. And as soon as we have something on SoFi, we'll make sure to point it out.
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome. You see
I think Neil
SoFi?
you just sold all your shares there. Is that what happened there?
Yeah, I've been looking into this on X even. I'm not seeing anything there either.
Yeah, so what we're talking about, thank you for joining. For anyone that didn't just get moved on over, SoFi with the break through the low of the day. It's not like the market is doing anything in this moment. A huge volume spike here in SoFi through the lows, now down 2%. It was already kind of weak, and we making a fresh low here? I think we did. We made a fresh low on the, probably like not a 52-week low, but a low of this year at least. Is SoFi, for whatever reason, is headed down. So the only trade I'm in is in BMNR, which I don't know if that's making a bit of a...
SoFi is getting extended.
It might be making a bit of a turn too. I might end up trailing out of this BMNR. It's the only thing that I'm in off of VWAP, and I feel like I'll get out if this breaks 357. But SoFi, something real is happening to SoFi.
Why. I don't understand how it's this kind of a move, and this is not about Adara. It's just like to not be able to find anything. I don't see anything either.
No one on X knows. Everyone on X is like, "What's happening?" And you never see that.
Oh my goodness.
I know. That's why I was wondering, like, how come we don't really know?
Come to me, please.
You got it.
It's already at you. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it's funny. This came out the second after I just said, oh, we don't have anything on SoFi. SOFI to the downside. Muddy Waters Research. It looks like they probably published this a couple minutes before, but they only posted it on X now. So again, Muddy Waters saying they are short SoFi. Quote, we believe SoFi is a financial engineering treadmill, not a healthy origination business. GE Capital style marks, Enron-esque off-balance sheet structures, and relentless dilution. So again, guys, literally 60 seconds ago, MW Muddy Waters post this on X, posted it on their website, I'm guessing a couple minutes before, which is when we got this drop, but it explains why no one on social media knew. Back to you.
Can we
Enron-esque there?
Can we do one thing, just one thing in the world? Can we stop comparing everything to the most extreme example ever? Like, you can make the point without that utter absolute, like, what are we doing? If, like, not every, you can think that something is, and whatever, take it with a grain of salt. I don't share the SoFi, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, quite simply, like, Enron, Enron stands out. There's a pretty high bar for Enron. There's obviously, like, I could make the other analogy, like, everyone compares the bad to you know who. It's like you just can't. At some point, you lose credibility here. But yeah, SoFi, you'd have to read the report. I have not. It's probably on the trade ride home. I'll look into it, or if I'm being real, I'll pump it into like Gemini and ask it to summarize it for me, or I'll probably be on Grok or something at that moment. But SoFi, oftentimes, remember, anytime I see this, my first thought is, you didn't short this flat bottom break. You've been short SoFi.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, hey, look at this break at the 200 period. This break support, maybe the 23 short. I don't know. Maybe you're short in front of 30, and then you're looking exit liquidity. So my hope is close back above 1735, this prior low. If it can do that, I'd almost be looking for the exit liquidity rebound long. I'll let this one settle down a bit. I haven't read the report. I don't really know what's going on there. It's for me to say that I disagree with something that I haven't read just because I own the stock and don't believe it's a joke wouldn't be fair, because I haven't read their case. So I'll be somewhat open-minded about it. But I'd rather look to see this hold $17 and play off of that, because I feel like this is always an exit liquidity kind of deal with these short seller reports, right?
Yeah, I punched. Anyways, just real quickly here, I am short NVIDIA, basically against VWAP. I don't know if this is going to work out. Like, I'm trying to, empty out the clip against VWAP. What am I talking? Oh, sorry. It's against this level right here, the 200 period, which is 50s. So that's kind of what we went short against, man. We're short at 30 right now. It's starting to go against us a little bit, but we just did take some out. Yeah, okay, here it comes right back up. We just did take some out against that level there. We got to put our stop in at 50 if it does come back down. We're going to get out of SoFi, out of NVIDIA right there. And then I wanted to take Robinhood there. I mean, it moved down as well, and I didn't really hear the exact. I mean, and SoFi is not Robinhood. SoFi is a completely different beast altogether with their bank charter and everything like that. But I just thought, you know, maybe there'd be something there. And without reading the report, we'll take a small little take there and see if we can get some more Robinhood. And it's kind of bouncing around these levels anyways. So there's, you know, potentially top heavy there on Robinhood. So we'll take a shot and see if that short wants to wind up holding. Get a little bit more in and around 50 if we can, and then run that. And then run that to the top. I thought that was Adara, and I was like, oh my God, like, is everything okay back there? Oh, you're over there now.
I don't know if you guys heard that.
Yeah, I was just like, squeak, and I was like, oh my God, don't tell me something happened back there, but Adara's not even there. So, all right, we got some screwing in of wood, I think that's what.
I couldn't even describe that.
So, all right, so let's go over to SoFi just real quickly, just to have a quick look. So Muddy Waters does have that report out on SoFi. And yeah, SoFi, not so good, downside. Just touched down to 1670. Like, was there any reason for a bounce there? That was the low, it looks like a couple weeks ago, March 2nd or so down here in and around this area. So you lose that bid, and yeah, you're probably in a little bit of trouble. It's very hard. Okay, NVIDIA is going to stop out. Ah, damn it, like have a report on NVIDIA, man. But looks like we'll take a little bit of cash on the first spot there of NVIDIA, and then potentially here lose on the second. So, all right, NVIDIA does not want to go down against these levels. I was just thinking like we're getting up to the top side here. Maybe we wait for 61s right there for NVIDIA and don't stop out right away. Because we took some out, let's do that. 183.60, what is this exact high there? Just give it to that. Yeah, 60. It's not very great. 63. I don't know. Yeah, now I'm just kind of pulling at straws here with NVIDIA. So let's wait to see what winds up happening here on NVDA. We are still short Robinhood and NVIDIA right now. Market's like near the highs. I was actually thinking about, near the highs of the afternoon, thinking about shorting into this area. Kind of glad we didn't do that. You're above VWAP, above the 50-period moving average. So yeah, the short. Just for a try may not be that one right now. Maybe we go long, man. The futures are all above. We should not be short here right now. But we'll give it a go. The Robinhood one, not much action on this trade, so this we might be off on as well. So I don't know. Maybe we just punch out of this. Let's to see if Robinhood wants to work. But yeah, man, it's SoFi's the story right now.
Yeah, ZM Comics in the chat here. If you're curious, Muddy Waters with a string of posts on X saying they are short on SoFi. You can read them. Look. You can read them out, and if you like their story, you like their story for sure. It's like several posts, and then it links to their research short report. So that kind of is what it is. I did trail out of BMNR. That was the first thing we mentioned. We're going to get to the rundown once we get the okay from Shreve, once he's ready, which is fine. But I've trailed out of BMNR. I did take this DVLT. I know this was being watched in the midday, and lots were opining about the triple top at 77. It broke while we're paying attention to SoFi, and it was still here after the breakout. So I've jumped in the 77. I'm just going to give it to 76, right? Like get the penny stock. So that's a high break. The lower high here is effectively at 76. So it's like a cent worth of risk, and just to see, you know, how far this one might be able to go. It's not a blue sky setup here. It's worth mentioning if you go out to the, here we go, the 15-minute chart's having some trouble loading. Like it does have these topping tails into 79. So I think a scalp in the first couple of pennies, I mean 1 cent is 1-to-1, take something out. And if it can get to 80, that would be a bigger breakout zone on this small capper. But SoFi comes out of nowhere. I don't know, if he can't hold on to 17, that could be a bit of a problem. Usually it's like a playback into the prior low or VWAP where I want to re-engage the short. Tomorrow I'll probably be thinking about like a dip long in SoFi. But right now, they're under pressure because of Muddy Waters.
Yeah, I mean, I would think the short is fine, but it's just like at what level? I mean, you've already sort of bounced back up to 1730.
It's like 3% from VWAP.
You're in the middle of like the low and sort of where this started right now. So it looks like 17. I mean, if you want to go short, you can just go short against 17. But I'm pretty sure that will stop you out. I think you got to do a little more work, or you got to wait, you know, for it to jump back up into VWAP and for maybe someone to refute that, or get a story about it. I'm surprised that we didn't hear about that.
I'd love to see a response
not even
from
on
the
the
company,
Benzinga
but-
thing here. So that's what I mean. Like somebody that's doing some real research here. Not that Muddy Waters isn't, but find out, what that talk is all about for SoFi. So that would be interesting to see that. So okay,
Well,
man.
it's like, here's just to give you one quote from them. After adjusting for what we view as inflated marks, off-balance sheet borrowings, and capitalized expenses, we reduce SoFi's 2025 adjusted EBITDA by approximately 90%.
Their EBITDA.
From 1.05 billion to 103 million. Management gets paid for diluting you. These are some strong. They're making.
We know that Anthony Noto was in there buying a little bit
Yeah.
last week or a couple weeks ago, so there's something there for him.
Not saying nothing here.
But yeah, not good. So you don't want to get that done. Your EBITDA down 90%. I mean, that would send the stock. Talking about their price to earnings. I mean, if they earning 90% less than what we're expecting, then yeah, that is going to. $16 is a great deal for short. This thing is going to go sub $10 if that stuff is legit. So
Yeah, I would-
I don't know. Aloy,
So,
what's up, Aloy?
Sushi. Actually,
is
you're giving
ALOY?
me ideas now because I haven't had sushi in a while. I'm really
Aloys?
thinking about this. So I haven't even looked at this stock, and so anytime, and I appreciate the super chat. Anytime we look at something, it's the first time I pulled it up or I haven't read a story on it. Like I'll just let you know. I haven't looked at this. Looks like we just came to market and have been in trouble since. Anytime I see this come out, fail, it just made it just broke the low yesterday. It's all-time low, which is not really saying much, and it's trying to come back now. It never convinces me. Like there's your low that got broken, so you're back above it. It's kind of a rounded bottom, but until it breaks an actual resistance level, which here would be about 14.5, 15, it feels like the trend has been down, and you're not really breaking it, so you break out above 15 even, and I think you got to be careful. Like, how many things have we seen? Like, what are the odds? At some point today, I was going to talk about that new IPO, and then we get asked about this ALOY, which its birthday was its best day. And I feel like there's a chance. Should I already forget the name of that ticker? I have to go to my IPO list. It was SWMR. SWMR.
Yes.
Like, I'm not saying it's up 570%. Congratulations to anyone that played this IPO. Not really in our wheelhouse. I wish it was because it would have been great if you took this one off the open. But not in our wheelhouse. It was a $15 million notional offer. That's tiny. I wouldn't be surprised if this is its best day, or tomorrow is the best price that you will get. Do you know
Kyle? Yeah, this is Kyle's stock. Kyle Schwarber.
Oh. For a second there, I'm like,
shout out.
Because maybe it was kind of like a
hockey.
Chamath thing. If it was a SPAC.
No, it's Kyle Schwarber's. This
Kyle
is a 56
Schwarber.
home run guy here. That's why it's at 580%. I mean, he's going to hit 57 bombs this year. Okay, guys. Yeah,
I think he regresses deep.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cal Raleigh too.
Cal Raleigh is going to hit
he's a catcher.
less than 40 home runs.
The problem is a catcher. I too feel like your knees get weak, palms and all that.
Catchers don't have. Look at Johnny Bench, man. Like that guy is the greatest catcher of all time. Look at when he had like a monster year. We played the full season. The dude would be like just banged up like once every 3 or 4 years.
That was back then. Too.
And that was back in the day. Like I don't know.
But nowadays, I mean, with better protection of catchers and maybe better nutrition.
True.
Johnny Bench is probably. I don't know the guy, but these guys
he had
probably having a couple drinks.
Cal Raleigh has the best nickname in all of baseball.
Big Dumper.
The Big Dumper.
Yeah.
Can't lose, man.
The Blue Jays dumped on them and beat them, but yeah, I saw Ernie Clement the other day. That was a good one. Team USA.
Big Bills fan.
Okay.
I don't know if
I think we're ready.
Are we?
Yeah, Shreve's just chilling, man.
My bad.
Shreve's checking out some TikTok over there, looks like, over there by guy.
Checking himself out on TikTok.
Just making sure that we're live on there. That's what I meant.
Let me double check.
Okay.
We're good.
Good. Thanks, Sharif, for checking that out. And let's go back over to the desk and see what he's up to now. It's Sharif.
Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys, Neil and Sean, as they're known, they're locked and they're loaded and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get your ticker on the Afternoon Rundown, you got to get it to the top of the stock visualizer that Neil always shows. But the only way to do that is to vote. And you got to vote in the chat. There's a way to vote, though. You got to throw in that $ before the ticker of your choice. So make sure to vote. We're live every day at 8 a.m. Let's have a look at all 4 major averages. And unlike recent days, all 4 major averages are in positive territory, with the NQ or the triple Qs up about 2/3%. The SPY trading a little bit below the 0.5 percentage, up 0.43. The Dow faring the worst out of all 4, up 1/3, and the IWM Russell 2000 ETF up 0.85 on the day. Good look there. NVIDIA just went green on the day, and of course, day two of the GTC. Most of the announcements yesterday. Some of the announcements here saying the CFO saying she sees opportunity for the stock buybacks, focusing on capital returns. Separately, CEO Jensen Huang said there's strong visibility, confidence for their latest Vera Rubin and Blackwell chips. In fact, he sees over $1 trillion of demand. And last but not least, the rate of growth is actually continuing to accelerate, guys. So NVIDIA flat on the day. What's a look?
I guess, like the sell the news thing, it's hard. I know it's moving upside as we speak, but it's hard to argue with the sell the news in this particular case. The market just wasn't that impressed. I think at the end of the day, when you talked about that trillion, if you break up their last guides, it was 500 and the other one was like 490 something. I think it worked out to maybe a shade under what he was basically saying, and that just isn't big enough. I think we've been so accustomed to, if you're going to wow us, it's got to be gigantic. I mean, you've had Josh Brown, Chamath was talking about this recently. A friend of ours sent an article about this as well, where this whole disruption is changing the way people want to evaluate things. And so therefore telling me you have a gigantic backlog and in the future are going to have all of this income out there, maybe that's not how we value things if things are constantly going to be disrupted. And so therefore we just can't assume 6-7 years down the road or 3-4 years down the road that's good enough, then you get this massive multiple. If people are starting to rethink that, then maybe that's why they're quicker to take profit when NVIDIA pops. So as far as I'm concerned, yesterday it failed. Like, this was the breakout of the high yesterday. It was $185. It also failed the 188 level, which was big on the 15-minute. At the open today, if you go to the prior high, ignoring the event, that's what it failed. And it's still, and technically it's broken the trend down, but it's almost like a consolidation. Like, the afternoon resistance was here at 183.5. We're still under that. I can't feel constructive about this. I know it's turned green, but when I look at the last 24 hours here, that doesn't look bullish to me. And maybe it looks bullish to others. I'd be looking for a curl here at some point this afternoon in NVIDIA. And I can't explain why Intel is so much worse than all the other ones. I still haven't really figured that one out. It's down 3% and still looks bad. But yeah, show me that you can maybe break out this 183.5 on NVIDIA and I'll feel better.
Yeah, I was going long at this area earlier today on NVIDIA before it lost the bid here at 183. And now I was just trying to play it, again, sort of off that same level, but short, but it's not breaking down. So it's been like a little bit of a lazy kind of trade. I mean, I'm already out of half, believe it or not, all the way out here. Because we did start the trade down here thinking that we were gonna, how come as soon as I talk that happens? Straight back down into VWAP there again, which is down here. If we can get a 183, then great on it. But it looks like it's trying to hold, for some reason, this 25 period moving average, which has been held since 130. So yeah, starting to fight that. If we'll average it back at 50, then great. We'll take a little bit more there and see if it brings it all the way back down. But yeah, with the Nasdaq coming back in here, didn't really see the push that I thought we would have potentially gotten there in NVIDIA. So yeah, hopefully we break through the 50 period on the futures, and that will help us spark a little bit of NVIDIA move down. But yeah, we're going to try to cover in this area 183-ish if we're lucky enough to do that. My next offer is 183.10. Bid is 183.10. So hopefully that can come in. I don't know if we're going to talk about BMNR, but like I came back from the gym and realized that we put down well, I didn't realize it. I was looking at the thing here. We put down BMNR long at $23 today, right? The low of BMNR is 22.97 right there when it just came in just at 11.30, then straight to the upside. So I just want to say BMNR just topped out there as well, pulling back into VWAP. This is the trade I'm looking at right now, right in and around these levels. So you get that. We don't have that low, but it doesn't matter. It hits the low that we like, makes the way all the way back basically to the highs, pulls back into VWAP, now you should be able to see buyers here on BMNR. So let's wait to see if that comes in. And there it is, man. We'll go for another one right now as we take a little bit off right there at 15s. It's small. It's just this was trying to go against us. We didn't get 50. It went to 48. I was sitting at 50. Hopefully Hood will, with the market, come back down, and that will also spark our NVIDIA trade, which is now, whatever, 17 cents in the money. But here comes Robinhood. All right, let's go see what Sharif's up to.
Guys, the IPO today, SWMR into the high of the day, 37.11. This thing is up big. Began trading today under ticker SWMR. It makes drone autonomy software, which enables drone, to swarm. It helps operators control dozens or hundreds of drones simultaneously. It makes it difficult to disable the entire swarm by taking out one single drone. In fact, the company's technology has been deployed in Ukraine since 2023. It supported more than 100,000 combat missions. Sales in 2025, a little bit down here, $310,000. That's down from $330,000 in 2024. However, it's up big on the day into the high, guys, 38.20.
Yeah, I was trying to find the other
wild IPO.
There was another wild IPO that was in the drone space maybe a month or two ago that we traded that wasn't successful, and I only chuckle at it because it's like, it's the one.
Voyager?
It's the one that you don't do. It might have been Voyager. Maybe VOYG. Was that it?
I think so. You just keep talking.
Okay, so look, it's always the one that you don't take, but you've got to have, every style has to have rules, and if I'm being real. Let me just go to this.
Yeah, it had to have been Voyager.
Look at this. It's a $5 IPO, 3 million shares, 15 million. What's a number we usually say is big for an IPO that we like? It's like, if it gets close to or over $1 billion, then that's liquidity. It's like trade on, let's go. This one's got the hype around it. In this particular case, I think you had two things working for it. Obviously, it's in the right space at the right time. Okay, you get that one out of the way. I think that all makes logical sense to everybody, which is fair enough. Now, the second part of it is it's so small that if it does go, it's just immediately blowing up because it's so tiny, so few available shares. As I showed you guys, 3 million shares at $5. It's done 6 million in volume today, right? And it's its first day. And maybe it'll have more staying power than this, but I think this is one where congrats if you like this. I almost feel like when it halted up the first time, if you could have maybe got that initial halt, I suppose, might have been a trade. I suppose you could have had this off of VWAP. It's so incredibly illiquid when I'm watching it, despite the fact that it's done 6 million shares. It's one of those, even with the space, I can't bet on this one. Its first couple of days not being its highs. So I'd be really cautious with this. And chasing up here in the afternoon, I'd hate to see anyone get rugged. That said, the only people getting rinsed right now are the people trying to short it. And I will 1,000,000% not be paying for shorts today on this. I think that would almost be, you probably just have to get lucky to catch the top. I think trying to buy the top up here is crazy. And I think trying to find the short, a little bit nuts. Although if you keep it to a tight stop, maybe you look for like the big even dollars, like if it hits like 50 or something in turns, that could be a little something. So swarm, right space. What can I tell you? I wish a Voyager had done this. It just kind of sucks. But now you have the chart up, which is kind of making the point. I kind of feel like this could have a similar day one best.
Yeah, just everything that you are sort of, ticking off there. This is also was in the right space. This was led by Goldman Sachs. There was like huge underwriters involved with Voyager, and it was in that 900 or $1 billion dollar valuation on the release of, I think it was 15 billion in total or something, but that was downside. So obviously this shawarma stock, oh man, that reminds me, man, I love shawarmas.
I can eat that too.
But maybe a chicken shawarma. But yeah, so downside there. Just so you guys know, SoFi, we're gonna go back and talk about everything, but it's going new low of day right now. It just broke 1650 or tried to anyways. Down there, 1651 is the new low of the day. So you're right here, right now, right here, right now. And also, this is right here, right now. So boom, boom, out there, boom. So out of about half or so, maybe a little bit less than that, right there at the 25, out of about another half or so there. So we have about a third left. So as whatever math that is, a third and a third, I guess. We took it a little bit there. So anyways, end of the day, we did go all the way down there to O's, and I have an O2. It goes to O2, so we don't get that fill. But hopefully next time we'll get that. All right, let's go back over to Sharif right now. We haven't looked at oil yet. Maybe that's coming up.
We're going to talk about SoFi here, Sean. So more on the report. Here's the report from Muddy Waters if you want to, take a screenshot or whatever, but I'll basically summarize it for you. The first allegation, deceptive financial engineering. They're claiming that SoFi operates a financial engineering treadmill rather than a healthy business, and they're saying they're using Enron-esque off-balance sheet structures to disguise debt as revenue. They're also making allegations of significant accounting discrepancies. There's an allegation of $312 million in material misstatements regarding unrecorded debt, which is suggesting, the potential for deeper undetected financial inaccuracies. They're also saying they're misrepresenting their loan performance. So they argue that SoFi's actual personal loan charge-off rate is actually 6.1% or thereabouts. That's nearly double the 2.89% officially reported by the company. They also go on to make accusations about questionable business segments. They say the student loan and their loan platform business are described as not strategic assets, but rather vehicles to generate artificial fair value gains. And last but not least, they say misaligned management incentives here. They allege management is incentivized to dilute shareholders and engaged in these abuses specifically to meet performance targets and secure personal bonuses. This is by Muddy Waters. Want to make very clear, unsubstantiated. We're not, holding the veracity of this. We're just reporting what's being stated.
So, I don't know. Anthony Noto just invested $1 million in this in March, at the beginning of March. So 2 weeks ago, he put another $1 million in here. He has 11.6 million shares. Whatever. And the shares were bought at like $18. So he'll be underwater on those new recent shares.
Depends if that water's clear or not. It could be muddy.
Well, it might be a little bit muddy. Look, there will be a response from SoFi, and I think, some of us will probably do a bit of a deeper dive to see what it is they're talking about. I haven't read it. We're live here, and it's 18 pages long of a PDF, or at least something like that. So it's a lot to dig through to see what their evidence might be, but that's what ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you want to use is going to be for. So I await the response from Anthony Noto and from SoFi. I assume it'll be from Noto himself. And I look for some kind of a trend break. I was thinking about shorting the pop. It just didn't get to VWAP. Now it doesn't matter. You're at the lows. You're down 5%. The only play is going to be a mean reversion for me because I'm not shorting these bottoms on SoFi. And it's got a trend from that first bounce to when the news hit to the first bounce. If it can break that trend, which it's failing to do so here with this one green candle, then I might take a shot on SoFi. But be patient. Wait for the response from the company, read the report, make your own decision. Oftentimes, remember, they didn't short it today. They're usually short, and then this volatility and volume gives them some exit liquidity. So my guess is they've made their money, and allow the response and then see what's next. Hey, Fabian.
We have what's up, Fabian? We have we had an idea here with Robinhood. We put this on live with you guys. We punched into this right there at 2 o'clock, at 2:02. Now it's downside. So yeah, man, hit the sirens up again, man. We're sitting here looking for opportunities. And there was one right there on Robinhood. And I even said when I was in this position, look, I don't know if this has anything to do with Robinhood or anything at all, but we'll just play that downside right there. So here we go, man. It's 40 cents in the money on Robinhood. It's 40 cents in the money on NVIDIA. This is what we're doing. And we're going to see if it holds VWAP. So I feel like this is a decent trade. We're out of 40% of it already, and maybe put a bid out to get a little bit more out. I don't have any other bids out here right now. I actually had more offers to go short. We just got missed there at 50s. So that would have been sweet if we had gotten hit there. But yeah, no, SoFi, everything Neil said and more. Just a matter of, come on, SoFi. Just a matter of waiting to hear how the dust settles on this. You'll probably get some upgrades tomorrow, or not upgrades, sorry, analyst action on SoFi. We'll just see what they think about it. Hopefully it's not downgrades, but this is down 6% and looking nasty. So yeah, man.
How long would you have to go without a response from SoFi directly before you'd be concerned?
They might not give a response. I don't know what this means. They could ignore it, but SoFi has been getting crushed anyways.
I think that's part of the issue.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's so many down days right here. It might be easy pickings on them, but I don't I don't know. Yeah, I would assume that if there's all these details about their employees are incentivized to do this or to do that, hopefully someone will speak up and be like, nah, that ain't the way it is. But for right now, it does seem like it's a SoFi issue, and yeah, we're going lower on that. And I just take advantage of it with Robinhood. So I hope some of you are able to do that with me. I mean, it's literally the trade that I put on, and we're going to try to keep doing that there. And there goes another one. Spin it one more time. Money. Hopefully we get lower on NVIDIA, but we're just like getting more outs right here at 183. So we just got a couple outs at 183.02s, 183.05s, whatever. Looking for the break now. Let's just hold on to the rest of them. See what NVIDIA does here at the end of the day. Robinhood, 45 cents and going lower right now. Let's go back over to the desk.
Where? Oh. All right, guys, let's talk about Micron. Micron up 3.8% after the company began, where they announced that they began volume shipments of the HBM4 36 gigabyte 12H will begin in Q1 of 2026. Well, that's Q1. The stock may be seeing strength ahead of tomorrow's Q2 earnings report as well. Big earnings report for Micron, but a good day for them today, up 3 4/5.
In 4/5. So I actually, not at all. So I'm just starting to cover some more here. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'm being a silly one. All right, so I actually had Micron, right when we left, right at 11 o'clock, we had heard that Micron had just made all-time highs there, and I was like, really? All right, so that seems like a short for me because that's what happens sometimes. So we did get a good little trade there. We averaged it back in and then lost it at 458. So that was the out right there once we broke through 458. We started at 456.75. That's an out right there at 455. So that was 175. Then we put it back on and then lost 80 cents back there to the upside and broke through. So, you know, small hit on Micron today, but I tried it off the all-time high, and it just did not. I still, you know, like you want to talk about a name, and obviously, like this is just funny that's happening now because Muddy Waters, but like, you know, if anything ever came out about Micron or SanDisk or anything like that, the amount of downside there is insane. But now that's, you know, everybody doubting these things, and I'm included. Like, I cannot believe the run-up that we've had, 800% or something. And then now, all of a sudden, I'm thinking that, and there's 1, 2, 3, forget about that day, 4, 5, 6 middle fingers right in my face. Or for anybody that is short, boom. Like, it was just like, oh, you're at the 50 period. Oh, it looks like it's going to break. Like, I thought it was going to break. I'm not short it. I didn't lose or make any money on this stock. But that was looking like it was wanting to go down. I thought anyways that we had seen the tops. We came out. We topped out there. We sort of topped out. We came back. We did not hold the 50 period. I believe something happened there. And then there we go, man. So nice play up to 450, 460 right now. Breaking all-time highs today is Micron. So congratulations, man. That was a great trade if you're able to have it. And yeah, what a good dip buy anyways at 444. So you're already huge in the money there. And by the way, just we're going to throw over to Neil, but here goes my now good friend short, NVIDIA. Now, I'm very long in my long-term account. Almost the longest of all stocks for me is NVIDIA. But for right now, kablam. Nice move down to the downside there on NVDA. And we just take an offer, we take a bid there, sorry, at 91s. And now the fact that we bounced off of it, I'm going to take another bid here at 99s. There we go. We cross up with Arkin, get that one. And now we wait to see what is going on with NVIDIA.
I don't want to throw any shade on Micron, but it's interesting that yesterday SanDisk was so strong and Micron was like relatively weak, and today it's like the opposite. Like Micron's the one breaking out and SNDK is like taking a little bit of a break, and it's just like passing from one to the other. So I don't know, like if that trend continues, like maybe, you know, don't get too crazy about it tomorrow. If they both go, they've been ripping faces off for a while. So you just talked about Micron, there's not much to add to it. I'm watching that Micron move and I'm remembering what SNDK did yesterday, and then look at this high. It's like perfectly double-topped consolidating. So I almost feel like everyone's going to be looking at Micron tomorrow and then forgetting that SNTK just did a day of consolidation, and then maybe this one goes again. It's the same story, it's just unfolding, ripping faces off for the short. So maybe don't lose sight of this. Micron's the one making an all-time high break today, but tomorrow you're a stone's throw away on SanDisk, and it wouldn't surprise me if the baton gets passed one more time here. I'm not sure what symbol is next, but Eagle Guy just said, is there news on the trade desk? Is that moving?
TTD?
I don't know. I just saw someone in the chat throw it up there. Yes, it is. Okay, so You know what? I haven't heard anything in my ear, but then I didn't hear anything in my ear on SoFi.
No, I still haven't heard anything on SoFi. What is going on with this service over here?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to restart my news.
You restart it. Because
restart mine, but I have not heard a thing on the trade desk. And clearly, you just saw it drop $1.50 here in the last 15 minutes or so. But yeah, that's not looking very good at all. Not a very good afternoon for some random stocks here. Yikes. I don't know what to tell you.
All right. Yeah, I'm just covering some more Robinhood here, and we can go back just right here, just getting it at 77. We can go back to Sharif, and did you find anything on Trade Desk over there?
Looking, Sean, nothing yet on Twitter, nothing yet on my blotter. As soon as I get something, I'll let you know, but that's a 26.42 low. Big move down 1.25%. We'll cover Tesla here while we're waiting. Couple of headlines, a few headlines, in fact, on Tesla. The United States confirming that Tesla and LG did get into a $4.3 billion energy solution battery deal. They're going to build these lithium iron phosphate prismatic battery cells factory in Lansing, Michigan. Separately, there was today a nice headline for Elon Musk's autonomous ambitions as the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration proposed amendments to the federal motor vehicle safety standards to basically accommodate new autonomous vehicles, and Stiefel, I should say, maintained Tesla with a buy rating and a price target of 508. Guys, I'm still not seeing anything right now on TTD.
So just before we get into that, SoFi, actually, as I was getting distracted by the fact that my news service saying I needed to restart, and we were looking over at Trade Desk, SoFi, you can see it broke trend on the prior candle. So it did it a couple of minutes ago right here at about 1670. So on the next candle, it actually washed back down to hold this low. So I'm giving it to the prior bar low. I'm trying to add to it at the 70 level. Just mean reversion type of play here in SoFi. I'm not sure it gets to the volume weighted average price. And there was a very good point that got made. And I forget who said it in the chat. Like, anybody wanting to buy SoFi, yeah, I think it behooves you. If you're trying to invest in this, read up on the report. I haven't done so yet. Day trading is very different. I own SoFi on my personal account. I want to hear the CEO's response before I consider this an automatic dip buy. I want to see a little bit more about that report and see if I have any strong thoughts about it before I make some kind of a decision in a long-term account. Day trading is day trading. Like, you get in, if it breaks this candle, I get out. If it gets to VWAP, I get it, that kind of a deal. But we're supposed to be talking about it was Tesla. I actually didn't trade Tesla today. Shout out to, you had it for the long side. I was actually looking at Rivian a little bit for a breakdown, and Rivian actually had a very good day as well, I believe. Is it still? Yeah, it's still having actually, it's up 4%. But I've been watching Rivian for this breakdown, and it's not doing it. This gets up to like 17.5. That's the EV name that I'd be looking for. But I'd be looking for it for a bit of a fade here on Rivian. But yeah, the EV's having a very, very good day. Uber, a good day. Tesla, a good day. Rivian and Lucid were all pretty good.
Tesla's been a great day, yeah, financially, but it's only up 0.5. I mean, it's better than better than SoFi right now, and this was a little bit better. So yeah, we were looking at this earlier on today, and then all of a sudden it just dropped like right into our lap, right off the open. And I was just kind of looking at it like it might be worth a shot against some of these lows. So we're able to get it off of that, and we actually somehow basically got to the very bottom there at 393.07 or whatever it was that we were long. And then it just ran up, man. That was like $6, $7. You know, when we leave, we got to put in our stop. And I said if we break 396 at the time, I believe there had to have been something going on with 396 about why I chose that to be the stop level. But we only had like 5% left, right? I'm never going to leave and have a decent sized position on that, is for sure. Anything can happen at any times. And then that just created that, and it looks like we got basically taken out at the very bottom right there on Tesla. But no, it was just a trade earlier today, and we had seen so many times, man, Tesla do these crazy kind of moves. Like, there's a little bottom wick again, then bumping right back up to the top side on the open, right? Here's a move off the open 2 days ago, just flushed down, based out, and ripped. We just kind of got lucky today that we didn't need to wait for a base. Like, it just came in. I just kind of looked at these dark pool dumps and said 393, like, was not expecting that, because we started the day at 396 and thought, you know what, like all this talk there. I wasn't sure how the Uber story and NVIDIA would sort of affect Tesla, but I guess they did wash it and then rate back up to the upside. So yeah, man, I mean, I like the stock. I think everything's going well over there with Tesla, and I want to keep owning that one and don't want to sell out of it. We did get a lot of out. We only have 20%, 30%, sorry, left of Robinhood right here. Good covers at VWAP and just baby ones right now against $77. So we'll see what happens with Robinhood. I'm actually going to stop out if we take this out right here, 77.30. So I want to make sure that we put money in our pocket. As Neil said, you know, a day trade is one thing and a long term is something else. So I'm just going to stop out 77.31, put that order in. See, this is what we do. Enter there. Now that it goes pending, I can see it's accepted. So the minute that a 77.31 print goes, it will just market me out. And it only throws it out. We just learned 2.5% out. So it won't be a complete crazy unheard market order there on Robinhood. So that's what's going to happen there. Let's go back. Is it? No, Sharif's gone. Okay, so we are done.
We did 5.
Did not seem like we did 5 there, but maybe we did when time goes fast. Let's see if we can remember what they were. SWMR,
NVIDIA.
Tesla, NVIDIA, Micron.
SoFi.
Did I say SoFi? Yeah,
okay.
That's great. That just went by fast. Okay, so here goes NVIDIA. Nice move to the downside right now. Making new lows for me, anyways. We haven't been this low. Trying to crack through, so there it is. We just put a bid at 84. Here goes NVIDIA, man. I hope you guys followed the yellow brick road on this one. It's NVIDIA. It's short, and it's giving it back a little bit. What's up, Adara?
I've used all my tools in my toolkit to try to figure out what happened here with TTD, and I do not know. The trade desk, I was saying to Neil as well, no social media attention on this either. Like with SoFi, we had multiple posts per minute asking, hey, what's going on? TTD, I found like 2 posts in the last 10 minutes. So people are just not as interested in this drop either. I searched advertisements. I was trying to see if any other company said something about ads. Nothing that I can find yet. I want to mention as well here, Amazon, AMZN, nice push to the upside for Amazon as apparently the CEO in an internal meeting, that would be, of course, CEO Andy Jassy, saying that AI is going to lead to a doubling of AWS sales to $600 billion by 2036. So again, in an internal meeting, Amazon CEO reportedly projecting a doubling in AWS sales by 2036 to a whopping $600 billion. We're also going to keep an eye on Unilever, UL here. As you can see, this one moving around a little bit, reports that this company is considering separating its food assets. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. And Amazon with a big spike up in volume. Just quickly, I said I would trail out. About at break even, actually at break even on DVLTs where it worked out to be. That breakout at 77 got to 78 and no further. So basically it went like 1 cent and came back. We were giving it to this prior bar here, which is, I don't know, like 0.6 cents or something like that. But no, that trade desk, you know what, I don't think you want to trade this one blind. What's crazy is this move is actually, in some ways, more extreme. This is more extreme than SoFi's move. So the fact that we're not really sure what's going on here, and this stock has been beaten up as well. Like, it doesn't necessarily need lots of reasons to go down. There's something in my eye. But you're getting a pretty big breakdown. I suspect we're going to hear some news on this. And remember, as I was saying before, like SoFi, we took a breakout trade. It went first step. Stop went from prior bar into like the break even when it tries to go up. It's one thing taking a day trade on SoFi after this Muddy Waters report. It's another thing to say that, oh, this is automatically a buy. They made some pretty serious allegations, which they need to get refuted. I saw people that had like, hey, where's Anthony Noto? He's got to respond. I don't think it's that typical to see an official response from a company within minutes of a short seller report. That's just not usually how it goes. Let's be real. Like sometimes they might be like a quick tweet here or there, but like an official response from the company, it could come tomorrow, it could come tonight. Who knows? I would expect to hear something though.
Yeah. The only CEO I ever see respond like that quickly to issues would be Kaz Nejatian of Open Door. Like if there's anything ever, he responds right away. Now the one thing with Anthony Noto is he is very online. Like, I wouldn't say he's on X as much as Kaz Nejatian is, but he is very on X. So there's a decent chance he's already seen this. I'm going to keep an eye out for any posts from him.
Yeah, I pulled his feet up as well. I'm just out of curiosity.
Yeah, he's always, I mean, good call.
I know if he had, we'd have already been reporting it to you. It's not like we would have missed it. Okay, but we did miss a super chat.
Yeah.
Robert Lewis.
I tried to tag him there because he put this out like a long time ago. I don't see him in the chat, but it doesn't matter. He's probably watching.
So the interesting thing is, yeah, we talked about this often with the news they had this morning, and then it was also in the middle of the day, it was part of the lesson, like the reversion trade on it and blah, 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 blah. But one of the reasons that I wasn't as super bullish off of the open with this long was the simple fact that we've seen this deploy so many times where you get a positive news story before earnings, and then it turns out that, hey, we're looking for something to drop that's positive before maybe the earnings aren't as strong as we thought. So unfortunately, it seems like that was the case. It got sold off pretty heavily, and I do agree that there are problems. Like, look at this stock and look at the entire, and look at the space. Where, like, show me one of these nuclear, SMR would be a good example of it here. Oklo would be a good example itself. They've all been beaten up so badly and are hanging on by a bit of a thread. So there is a lot at stake when you haven't been trading on fundamentals, and we're in a market now which all of a sudden these things are starting to matter, and no one wants to buy things that aren't making money when there's so much disruption. And I think that's a bit of trouble for them. So I think there is a lot of concern. And so the buyers weren't going to be as strong this afternoon or today when you had that kind of news. If they weren't reporting tonight, I think it would have been much better received. And maybe it would have trended higher. Adara?
Yeah.
It looks like we might finally have a story for the trade desk. I'm now seeing some reports, and this is just now, like 13 seconds ago, this popped up on my X feed. Ad Age reporting that Publicis is telling its clients they're no longer going to be recommending the trade desk as a demand-side platform for digital media buying after an audit. So it seems like that's the reason the trade desk is dropping again. A report from Ad Age suggests that Publicis advising clients against, or rather not advising them against, but not telling them to go towards the trade desk as this demand-side digital media ad buying platform because they, I guess there was an audit that was not favorable. That's the deal here with TTD. Back to you.
There anyways with TTD. We just have a big bang theory to discuss right here because this is all the way down, man. We got basically the high of that move right there on NVIDIA right back in. That's almost a dollar club right there on NVDA. It doesn't really matter. We're just trying to take it at key levels. So it just comes right in there. I took 65 on your 200 period moving average. As we went long over there, we've almost made it all back right here on the day on NVIDIA. So we'll turn our frown upside down on that one. And we are moments away from being stopped out on Robinhood for positivity, man. There'll be another positive name for me there on Robinhood. Unfortunately, we tried Meta. And you don't believe that we got stopped out of this short? Like, this is the craziest, stupidest thing of all time right here. Short Meta, this was good. We really liked it. We actually got out of a decent amount there. And I was very patient waiting to reload this thing at the 200 period, right? And then look what happens. Meta in my face right there as it just took me out. And we missed it by about, let's give it 40 cents exactly. That's 620, 610. And then that's still 30 cents. And whap, all the way to the downside. That should have been a $2 or $3 winner. That's fine, man. I've got my eyes on you, Meta, because I like the way that trades, and tried to put on a big banger there and missed it. So unfortunately, when we miss like that, and when we win like this. So hopefully that's true. And even sometimes you can miss all the time too. Like here's Micron, and I'm kind of glad that was that miss there. Like there it goes, right? If we have it, it's huge, but we get stopped out. So that those trades are going to trigger every once in a while. So that's like a missed opportunity for the short, but we have our stop right there at the highs. It runs it, and there it goes down. Sometimes if you leave it like just 20 cents more than the high, well, then you're taking 20 cents more of a hit sometimes. And so it's just like you got to have your outs. And yeah, wick tops, dangerous. So, sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. I just want to say Unilever, if you guys are invested in this name, it had an up and down moment there. I heard something on the considering
separating their food business. I mentioned this I think probably 5-10 minutes ago.
Yeah, so there it was there. Yeah, just showing up now at 245 on this, but considering separating their businesses up. So generally speaking, that would be a pretty good sign there for shareholder value. It's like everybody, myself included, because Google's a decent position for me too. I want them to break up. Let's get YouTube and all that a separate entity, and then we'll see how that goes with Google Cloud and everything. I think that'll be a great business for them. All right, NVIDIA making the move down. And then Amazon had that great story there from Jassy. And no. So there it is. So they really loved that $600 billion number or whatever it was, and now they don't. So all the way upside there on a leaked sort of internal memo, I guess, from Andy Jassy, CEO of Amazon, talking about AWS and some of the numbers that they were looking at, and then whoops, all the way back down again to where it's probably worth buying a little bit. We did have some NVIDIA stories yesterday where we went up and down on the conference with Jensen. Looks like we're doing something similar there on Amazon. Okay, great, man. I mean, it's Tuesday. I mean, these weeks go by so fast, man. I was like, no idea.
Time just flies.
I used to have a stock, welcome to the show kind of trader thing. So, but I think this might still work. All right, stock blitz. Okay, that's kind of what it is. Let's bring on. There he is, Brian Shannon, just like that. Brian, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. How are you guys?
I'm not doing too bad here. We've been watching this GTC conference with NVIDIA yesterday. Had some nice up and down moves around this time as Jensen took a stage at 2 p.m. So that's moving around. And Amazon now just had to move up. Did you just see the news on SoFi?
SoFi and Trade Desk, man. Oh, my goodness.
I saw the moves, but I didn't see the news. Did you get?
Yeah, there was a Muddy Waters. Yeah, there was a Muddy Water report there. And of course, and Neil made a good point here, and they said they claimed that there was some Enron-like accounting in there, and Neil had a good point. Is like everyone always goes so dramatic with everything.
It can't be the worst of all. Everything isn't the worst of all time when it happens, but
yeah. So do you have SoFi up, Brian? Because I mean, this is a stock that from your own words, I believe, has been in the penalty box for quite a long time. I mean, we broke through the 200 period moving average. The 50 period started to sort of trend down here, basically the beginning of the year. Now you're getting to the downside. There's a lot of people in the chat, Brian, that are asking, when do we buy SoFi? Don't ask me, because I bought some at 22. So right now it's at 1650. When are we buying SoFi, if we are at all? What do you think the chart looks like?
Well, you guys know me. I don't like stocks in downtrends, and this stock is clearly in a downtrend. So it's not something I'm in any hurry to get involved in. You know that the phrase that I always bring up in situations like this is, if they don't scare you out, they'll typically wear you out. And we're below the declining 20, 50-day moving average. We're below last year's anchor. We're below the anchor from the April low, the tariff lows, that is. So I just look at it and see guilty till proven innocent. It's going to take some time. And, who knows, maybe it does this and starts to neutralize, but it's going to take time to really right itself. To me, it's, possibly a similar situation to this, except we're below that 200-day moving average up there. So it looks pretty badly damaged and, going to take some time, just like it did over with these moves back in 2021.
I want to jump in and ask you a question, because it's related to this SoFi, particularly. Anytime, look, if we have an earnings or you have an all-time high gets made or like the IPO day, like there's these certain events where I know you like to slap an anchor on. Obviously, the short seller report, there's two things. The volume event that it's causing is going to be a big one, and the move that it's causing is going to be a big one. But on the other side of it, it's like, these guys short before they get in. So if they put in a big short position, it's not like they did it today when the news is coming out. Is this something where you'd say, hey, let's put an anchored VWAP on this from today, or is this not that type of an event? Just out of curiosity, because I know you're obviously more of an expert on the indicator than anybody.
Yeah, I think it would probably make sense here. As far as today goes, you could start looking at it on an intraday basis and say, the anchor from the news. We're currently back above that. However, we're still below, these key, look at how it's been holding below that declining 20-day moving average. And it's been held prisoner to that. So that seems more important for now. And as we back it out, we're in this downtrend. So I would look at an anchor, for instance, from the IPO and say, that's a possible place we might drop all the way down to. And that's obviously not what people want to hear, because that's down at about $13 or so. We can look at the anchor off of this low and maybe say, okay, well, this is the neighborhood we might come down to, but otherwise it's guilty till proven innocent. And this is our level of interest below where we look to say, perhaps we start to stabilize in there. So hate to be the bearer of bad news or sound negative, but it's in a downtrend. If you asked me last week, I would have said it's in a downtrend. It's guilty till proven innocent. Focus on stocks and uptrends.
I can't argue with that whatsoever. And I think that's something that everyone needs to hear. I mean, obviously, like I sit here, I own shares of SoFi, and it's done so well for me in the long run. It looks pretty bad right now. If we can sort of flip gears for a quick little second, I missed, it's been a while since we had a chance to talk to you. And oftentimes, we look at too many charts that look like this on the trade desk and like SoFi. And I'm just curious what your thoughts are with two names. If we can just, like yesterday, so today Micron is making an all-time high. It's breaking out of this flag. And then you've got SNDK, SanDisk, as well. Maybe not breaking the high, but very, very similar pattern. They've been so big, people struggle with how can you possibly want to buy these things up here when these moves have been so incredibly parabolic, but the memory space just keeps on going. They're relatively strong when the other chips aren't really doing much. What are your thoughts? If you pick one, you don't have to either or. The charts are eerily similar here. What are your thoughts on those? It's always tricky to buy tops, but statistically, it's probably better than picking things up in the uptrend, even when it's at the top and seems expensive, is better than buying buying that that torrential downpour.
Sure. We spoke about SanDisk last week, actually, Sean and I did, and someone had asked about that. And I said, listen, we're still above a rising 50-day moving average, so it's innocent until proven guilty. But this is the box that I drew in. And I thought, hey, it's probably stuck in a range and it needs to consolidate for some further time. I kind of thought it was going to do more of a time correction in here, but it just continues to surprise to the upside. And news and surprises tend to follow the direction of the trend, which is why when bad news comes out on SoFi, it shouldn't be a surprise. And when good news comes out on SanDisk, it shouldn't be a surprise because that's what, the market's a discounting mechanism. It anticipates these future events. And then that's why, a trend once established, whether up or down, is more likely to continue than it is to just, fall apart and, people trying to pick the top in SanDisk. My advice, I think, last week was I would just leave it alone because it probably needed more time to digest, was my thought. So you can't beat yourself up for missing a winner either. That's the thing that gets people. They say, they start saying, oh, I knew I should have, would have, could have done this or that. But, Micron continues to move higher, like you said. Western Digital, it's like you said, they're kind of the same chart. Seagate, maybe, not quite as strong. So, perhaps Seagate can pull back, consolidate, and then get going beyond this level. But that's why I'm a trend trader, is because I can't pick tops and bottoms, and I've never ever seen anyone who can successfully do it on a consistent basis.
That's the other thing. You have to find things you can do consistently. And just out of curiosity, I didn't get a chance to speak to you last week, so I won't ask you about anything that you might have mentioned there. But last week. But is there anything new? It seems like every single day we're getting a different headline, and oil stocks are going crazy. And then we've had a couple airlines that are doing pretty good, and they're trying to break some trends. They've been really good trading stocks. Maybe in a sector that isn't tech or isn't something that has a Muddy Waters report. What's on your mind for this week in the midst of all this turmoil? You got a name for us that piques your interest or has a good setup where you aren't necessarily chasing, where you aren't having to sit there and predict a bottom? What's on your short list, or maybe a new position you have?
Yeah, it's too late now, but Kava's been my trade so far this week. This has just taken off beautifully the last 2 days. So, I can't tell people, hey, you ought to go get involved in that. Plug is a small, we've got the Fed tomorrow, so I'm hesitant to put any new swing trades on. I did buy some Plug today, and this one, it trades 90 million shares a day. So don't let the $2 price intimidate anyone or think that it's just a little garbage stock where you can't get in and out. I've got an eye on the anchor from the not the all-time high, but the high of last year and this little level up in here. So I'm thinking maybe it can run up towards this zone, but I'm still trading, half size positions, even on Kava. It's a nice winner, but I only took a half risk unit on it. One stock that some of the listeners last week asked about was Circle, and I want to follow up on that because I said it's possible it could run to the anchor from the IPO, and that's exactly where we are. This green line is the anchor from the IPO in Circle, And it's not slowing down yet. We see this 30-minute, time frame. This is the week-to-date anchor, the 5-day moving average. So the way to handle this stock, and I know some of your listeners are still long, is to say which one of these higher lows do they protect themselves with their stop. We've seen, last week on this day, we were talking about it right here, and it was still in that giant uptrend above the rising 5-day moving average. So this is a zone where it starts to make sense to, not buy new positions clearly after such a huge run, but to tighten the stops and start thinking about, not giving away all of your profits if we see a sharp reversal.
I think that's absolutely perfect. I'm glad you brought that one up to be real, because I feel as if it's been one of the more impressive stocks. And this would be a good example of, you said the term you used was guilty until proven innocent, right? And
no, this one is innocent till proven guilty.
Well, no, it turned that like $50 ago. You could make the argument that right in here, right in the middle of February, I guess it would have been the end of February, you can see the downtrend, you can see that 50 period, it doesn't have the 200 yet, but there's your consolidation breakout, and now all of a sudden, I'm glad you had that anchor up there, you basically got the move you'd be looking for, and very cleanly off a prior resistance level breaking out and getting to that anchored. What would you say to, as we enter power hour here, what do you say to those that, like as a day trader, I look at when the analysis that you have on Circle, it goes right into that line. You put in a lower high. That's the kind of area that if it kind of confirms a little bit of a top, maybe a false breakout at the open, I'm inclined to want to look for a small fade in there. And oftentimes, if you found in your experience that using the anchor for support for bounces is better or worse than using it for reversal short, is there anything to that? Because I find it's psychologically easier to watch something bounce off of a level that you like and take that long, as opposed to, as a day trader, hey, it's respecting that anchored at the top, let's short that. If you found anything in either direction there, because we know psychologically everyone wants to buy dips more than they want to sometimes fade those highs.
Agreed. And for this one, though, like we said, I mean, it's just run from 50 to 135. And the thing, Neil, is look at how beautifully it is. I always talk about the 5-day moving average. It broke out here, and look at how this 5-day moving average has been rising the entire time and holding this stock up. So for a bigger reversal, I think what's more important is that if we started to see something along the lines of, let me sketch this in. So let's say we get your gap higher tomorrow. It starts to fade below tomorrow's VWAP. And then, for a scalp, shorting it here, and then looking for a move maybe down to today's volume weighted average price would be a good place to, maybe cover half of your short. And if it did this, and then it comes down to the 5-day moving average, maybe we get another bounce, the 5-day moving average flattens out. And then I think you could start to see, a swing trade to the short side. But until it does that, the bigger picture is so strong that to fight it for anything more than day trades starting out just doesn't make sense. Look at today's action holding above this volume weighted average price the entire time. And this is where that anchor from the IPO is right here, basically at about 135, 136. And we're not really showing any weakness in here either. So it's a balance of that longer term, such strong momentum with trying to find those little spots. And in the initial, flurries lower, if it was to do this, you've got to be quick to cover some, because it's most likely going to, trap some shorts and squeeze them and then roll over. It might take 2 or 3, kind of false breakdowns before the move can stick.
All right, Brian, last week I told you that I would write down your picks and hold you accountable. And obviously that's fine, because you are well explaining absolutely everything. You're getting a lot of love in the chat for all your explanations and all the help you're doing on the chart. So thank you so much for that. I wrote down Dell. So here it is right here. The Brian Shannon single sticky note right here has Dell on there. And if I go back a week, it's March the 10th. You said long on Dell. That was a 144. And I can't remember the exact price. That's why I was showing you that there was a decrease there in the candle. But Anyways, we don't get any lower on Dell than that day that you came on. So congratulations. I wonder if you are still in this. Has this trade worked out for you? Did that indicate an in for you that day? But you did mention Dell and gave it to everybody last week. Since then, it's up about $11 or so. What's your trade looking like on Dell? Were you able to get into it? And how did that wind up working out?
I got in and out, Sean. I didn't take it. I'm still not holding it. I had set my stop a little too tight on my final third right here and got shaken out of it on this day. I did get back involved for a day trade, but that one, it really didn't do really well for me. I was managing risk too tightly on that simply because of the market. I thought when it broke this lower low here, I thought, okay, well, it's extended, so it's likely to pull back down. So I didn't trade that one great. The other one, if you remember, was NTAP on the short side.
Yep.
And that one never did what we wanted it to do. And in fact, here's the drawing that I wanted to see it rally up and then roll over, and the stop was going to be here. So that one is just kind of never triggered for me. And simply because the stop was violated prior to a low risk entry.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I've written down NTAP on here as well, and was like, I wrote down the dates, and I thought that one had not executed at all. Brian, thank you so much for coming on. Where can everybody find you? Obviously, at Alpha Trends over there on X, I believe. The same on Stock Twits as well. And then you have your subscription model there. I think, is it $5 or $10 a month on Twitter, where you provide an unlimited amount of resource and knowledge wealth. So can we maybe discuss your Twitter handle or Stock Twits or basically anything you'd like to?
Sure. On X, it's $10 a month. I do daily analysis of the markets and provide some stock picks. Really a lot of education. In fact, this Saturday is going to be the next recording of the educational seminar for subscribers, where they send in their educational concept questions, and then I answer them and put that post up in video format so we can explain it. But lots of education and actionable ideas for, like you said, it's just $10 a month.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. And I mean, this is why we have a guest like you on, where you're actually giving real life ideas, not just posting up, oh, look, I made like, $20,000 today. These are ideas with reasons and legitimate ones at that. And of course, your author. I keep on looking for that book, The Anchor VWAP. But go find Brian Shannon.
Someone is reading
I'm going to get it next week. I'm sorry about that, Brian. It's always being borrowed somewhere. But we've got a good trade on in NVIDIA right now. We want to thank Brian for coming on and allowing us to dig into his brain a little bit there.
Appreciate you, brother.
Neil asked you about another name. Was there anything else about a stock? I think we covered a lot.
No, nothing else. I was going to mention oil. It still is holding the anchor from a week ago Sunday on that gap. So that's acting as support. So this whole, Strait of Hormuz thing is still, acting as a solid bid reference, basically.
Right, perfect. Yeah, I mean, that's why we always say it too. It's like right now, the best trades I've had on oil is just that instant news, right? Like
reacting.
Boom, reacting to something happening. And that's why I'm just waiting for that Strait of Hormuz noise there when that gets opened back up. But NVIDIA is getting to the downside, so we're going to go talk about this. It's Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends. Thank you so much, and we'll check to you next week.
Thanks, Brian.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Ciao, that's it, man. It's Stock Blitz.
Sorry, Sean, we'll get right to your NVIDIA short. I want to talk about Inflection, INFQ. This name pushing to the upside. I did put this in our chat, of course, in case anybody missed this story. But basically, INFQ, Inflection, posting on their X account that they are proud to be part of the UK's quantum initiative. So I guess INFQ working with the United Kingdom government on a quantum initiative. Good look for this quantum play. Other quantum plays, of course, include RGTI. QUBT, QBTS. So lots of different ways to look at this name. IONQ as well, of course.
Big name tonight, Oklo, reporting. And meanwhile, while we had Brian on, this was happening. Money. Oh, man. That was real good. And there it goes right down to the downside. I'm just taking out like 5% on, it looks like a lot of outs, but I just don't know how long this thing's going to go. And then I heard that Jensen speaking somewhere right now. So down to 1.
Seems like some of this is the redistribution of comments he already made. It's worth noting a lot of the people who post on social media are at this event. So there's a lot of vague SpawnCon happening when it comes to these comments.
Okay. So Yeah, we only have 10% left of this trade right now. So, I mean, man, it's a winner right now. It's another one. We've taken $5 or $6 on Tesla. We'd lost one on Micron. We showed you some of our trades today on Meta and Micron and Tesla, of course. And here's just another one on NVIDIA. So, you know, we messed with it long early. That was not right. We kept on. We made some money a little bit and got dumped out a little bit there. But no stop outs here at all as we have that 10% spot left. I was just going to wait for the 50-period moving average. So we'll take another bid if we can get back down in there. It's too bad, man. I was waiting at 182.10s there and missed it. I don't know. It says we printed 09s, but we were waiting. Oh, no. Sorry, we're at 05s. That's why the bottom is... Yeah, that's why I went right to 05. So we're going to wait to see if that comes back in. We have a very small amount left. So I'm now bidding 182.12 to see if we get that fill, but only 10% left. So this is not something to worry about right now for me. But congratulations to anybody able to follow that. And yeah, SoFi, 17.25 right now.
Well, if you're looking for volatility in Power Hour, then this Power Hour brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex, offering Canada's first and longest running suite of leverage and inverse leverage ETFs built for sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. Its triple leverage bull and 3x ETFs tied to the Nasdaq 100 are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. The strategies are currently currency hedged, seeking to offset US dollar exposure back to the Canadian buck, or the loonie, I should say. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategy, up or down. Make sure it's with your risk profile. Trade tactically. Remember that these leverage ETFs, good for trading, but that decay will get you in the long run. You can learn more at betapro.ca, and you can scan the QR code you see out in front of you right there. I want to shout out to Beta Pro. And speaking of the volatility, SoFi, first we'll get to SoFi because, yes, that's right, it wicked me out, but it did get back into VWAP. So they're doing, and look, it happens, and I'm not saying this is the all clear after that Muddy Waters report. Still want to hear from Anthony Noto. Still want to see what their official response might be, if there is one. Maybe it'll be days from now. I have no idea what that might be, but it is being bought back up. It's through the volume-weighted average price. I wouldn't even consider that one. Yeah, it's too far gone to just automatically short up there. Maybe if it got all the way into like 1750, where the flush happened, or like 1770 and tried to go complete V-shape, that could be a spot to look for a trade. But it's a similar setup that happened to the other stock that cratered, I wouldn't say today, but a lot of stocks cratered today, this afternoon, which would be the trade desk. So it also, and I'll have to hit save on this one, it also broke trend and just got me in here 25 and a third. So the stop is to the prior bar low, looking for, I don't know about the VWAP retracement. That feels, it's a little bit more stretched than SoFi. So I look at this on, I'll pull out the 3-minute chart instead of going to the 15. About 26 and a quarter is the low from Friday. So if it gets up to there, I think that's a spot to look for. But I like that SoFi bounce. Still want to hear from, you know, as a shareholder who has been looking for a spot to actually buy shares back into it. I think you want to be a bit patient with this. It's nice to see it rally. It'd be even better if we heard a response from the company. Adara?
Just be aware here, LCID pushing higher. This is actually near intraday highs. Now, I have spoken a lot about all of the many industry events this week besides the NVIDIA GTC conference. Looks like Lucid executive speaking at a B of A conference and saying that hands-free driving for their Gravity is a few weeks away. So they're near hands-free driving, according to comments made by the company's CEO at a Bank of America conference. That is LCID Lucid Motor, or Lucid Group. Shout out to Timmy Chalamet. Back to you.
Out there. Yeah, just real quickly here. Here's another one. So we'll just go this one. Another one. Okay, that's enough. What's up, Brendan? Right here. But yeah, here's another short that we got stopped out of. So just like Neil showed you SoFi here, this was, it just kept going. And I was like, I could have waited for VWAP and probably should have there. Not really sure what we were looking at. I think it was right into here with also coinciding with your 200-period moving average right there at 1:32 o'clock. So it was hovering around there. What time is this? Yeah, 1 to 130. So unfortunately, it broke, and I was just like, nah, too much is enough, and I didn't want to lose too much here on Oracle. But yeah, there it goes right to the downside after we get back into 156, and I just did not hold it all the way. We stopped out at 80s there, and then it drops all the way down. And something very, very similar happened, of course, on Meta, which is right there, breaking the 200 and all the way back down. So I can't hate on that, but those were trades that happened. So we are out of those right now. We obviously have a much better look here with NVIDIA, as that's downside right now. We'll just wait to see where that's going. Tonight is Oklo, so we have that report there, and they got a deal this morning with the U.S. government. So Oklo, though, has given it back. Neil's already sort of talked about that reversion back in today. I don't know, man. I don't really like any names that aren't making any money these days, and Oklo definitely is not. Their EPS expected minus 17 cents for the quarter. So, yeah, I would say downside play for Oklo. But, you know, if they talk positively, you know, I mean, you don't need to make money to go up. I mean, we've seen names like that with Palantir and so many other names that just keep running up because of what the future holds. And, I mean, you know, a deal with the government definitely they're helping out Oklo today, but only up 3%. So it's just right at a really slippery spot right now. I think if Oklo even winds up beating tomorrow and is up like that 13 or 14%, that'll be a fade tomorrow, because we saw it fade today on a similar, you know, actionable event.
When your price to sales is not applicable.
No, there's, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like the price to sales is 100. Right, like that would at least be a number. The price to sales is 0. Like, well, it can't. It's not technically not even 0. It's not applicable. It just doesn't exist. So I think even like something minor will be good for it. Actually, it's good that you mentioned the reversion, because someone was like, Neil's pick TTD is going against. If you trade mean reversion trades, then you will be against the grain often. Like if this is a downtrend and I'm taking that trade with that stop, it's structure. Like this is where it broke the trend line. This is the price at which it broke the trend at 25.20 or so. That's the price that we're long. There's the prior bar exit. I'll take that. I'll do it in SoFi as well. SoFi, more of a flat trade because, you know, ultimately it was a break-even stop in there, just slightly under break-even, and it started to go. And I moved my stop up, which I tend to do when it fails first resistance. But you're not gonna have it. Whoops, Oklo is a New York stock and not NYMEX. You're not going to have a strategy or a set of strategies and then ignore it. Like Oklo was also a downward trending stock. This is where it broke the trend on the 3-minute. That was a prior bar exit. It was literally 15 cents worth of risk. It went right into another upper trend line. I did reverse into a short. I don't always do that, but it then had this kind of upward trend going into it. It did this, right, where it broke this upward trend. So I did reverse into the short and realized, that's getting a little bit too cute with it, and just had a tight stop with it. But you trade these strategies because that's what works for you. Like I like that mean reversion trade. So you will find yourself going against the grain, but looking for a specific setup when that does happen. I do see we have a super chat, so I'm going to get to that quickly because I want to make sure we get those. We don't want to miss you. I don't know when you put it up, Jay Degenerate. Holding it's Schwarmer. I'm thinking like you said David Schwarber. I'm thinking like David Schwimmer or like whatever. Since 16 this morning, thanks Trader TV. Well, I know this is one Sharif was covering because it's been like this opened up, but we were already off the show. I think it opened up at like 11 o'clock, which is early for an IPO.
Yeah, well, because there was no interest.
Well, it's
so I don't. Sharif
$5. No, he was. I don't think he
didn't
would
trade it.
I don't think anybody would trade this stock.
No, Joe or Sharif, no. So.
This is the kind of stock that at real trading almost. I'll be candid with you. At real trading, which is a huge day trading firm, there's not a lot of people who would trade a stock like this, long or short, because it was so small. Like you're talking about an IPO, $5 million notionally that's the notional value of the shares. Release. Obviously, it's done incredibly well. So if you add 16, then you took it basically off the first or second halt. So you at least were in it early.
Do you have that IPO page up? Because
I'll bring it back.
I was going to like show people like
it's
just how low and like why we don't have
insanity. Like okay, so this is Swarmer. The other one this week is Janus Living. Look, I don't know Janus Living, JAN. But that's supposed to be, I guess, on the 20th, so it'll be on Thursday. 850 million shares. Let's go back to last month. Okay, so these are all of the, and apologies, there's a lot of SPACs mixed in here. Anytime you see something exactly at 10, it's a SPAC.
But suffice to say, there is one IPO the entire month that was underneath 100 million in notional value. And it was whatever JAG-U is, Jaguar Uranium Corp at 25 million. It's very rare. It's incredibly small for an IPO, which does mean liquidity is going to be at a bit of a premium. Liquidity is very low. Even paying to locate this stock here at Real Trading would have been, I think it was like a couple $100 for 100 shares. So you're spending.
Did you look?
Yeah, I looked earlier.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
When I looked earlier, it was $2 per share. When we normally, when we normally look at an IPO that we trade, I'll pay for the locates just to have them on board, even if I'm going long, because they're probably 3 cents a share or 4 cents a share, not $2 per share. So obviously it's going to be illiquid, but yeah, if you get into these early, congrats on that. I wouldn't be chasing it. It is double topping for what it's worth. It has double topped up here at exactly $40, literally to the penny. So if it breaks 40, there's some more shorts that are about to get burned. Adara?
Be aware here, guys. Not one, but 3 pretty major earnings reports, or at least notable earnings reports after the bell tonight. Now, I don't usually make a implied earnings moves infographic if we have so few names, but in this case, all 3 are pretty major, and all 3 of them have at least a 10% expected move. So you've got Oklo at 4 p.m., 10.2% expected move. Lululemon and DocuSign both at 4:05 p.m. with 10% and 11% expected moves respectively. So there's going to be some big heavy hitters moving after the bell. Again, you can find this infographic and many, many, many more on X at TTV Research.
Oh, Lululemon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the one in the biggest trouble there is Lulu, but I don't think it'll move the most. I do think it'll be Oklo. Will move the most. What is the story today with Nebius? Because yes,
$3.325 billion offering.
Yeah, that was early in the day, right? Like
that was it.
Yeah, because like I'm just surprised. Like yesterday we had that huge move up on Meta, you know, and then on the $27 billion deal or whatever. And then, you know, I just feel like that offering, it would have already came out. Like I just surprised that we're at the low of the day. That's all. Like I just, you know, surprised that. Like, you know, SoFi's bad news sort of comes out, the market digests it, they figure it out, and it gets bought back up and just says as if Muddy Waters didn't even come out anymore, right? And so it's interesting to see that move down there in Nebius and the continuation of the move on NBIS. We did, I'm gonna go over to Adara in a second. We just covered a little bit more there on NVIDIA right here at 35. We just made a move down into 25. I am bidding 12s still on NVDA. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here on META. Now, this does not have to do with Nebius, which of course we know Meta does have a deal with, but it has to do with another deal made by Meta, this one involving Manus AI. It looks like China's NDRC, so a Chinese governmental body, summoned both Meta and Manus executives last week, saying they're concerned over the deal. This is not the first time we've heard reports that China's been concerned over the deal, but this is like the first concrete thing that we've heard with regards to an actual investigation or further action looking into this deal. This is being reported by the New York Times. META, back to you.
Yeah, Meta, that's been a stock in trouble. Just back to those earnings thing for a quick little second, because that Lululemon chart, I was trying to hit the flat bottom break, but it didn't work, so I'm not going to try again, because whatever it was, it kind of, let me try it again. There it is. I don't know why it didn't work before. But remember Lululemon? Okay, so look, here's the thing. It was a nice bounce on this monthly chart off the 200-period moving average. So if you can complain all you want that it only went from like $160 off that low, and the green month that gave you an entry was like in the mid 175s. It went to 225. It gave you 20-something% on that move, but this month is looking like it's going to close underneath the 200-period, not on the daily chart. Not on the weekly chart, the 200-period on the monthly chart, Lululemon. That's what's at stake for this report, because if it's bad, then it's hard to imagine it's going to be able to do enough of a rally to turn this into a wick bottom and a bounce, because the confirmation that it's holding this level again can't come until the end of this month, which will be after the report. So there is a ton at stake for Lulu. It plays in both directions. I liked it once for a bounce off this. If we end up holding this by the end of the month, or if it's like the last couple of days and it looks obvious that we're holding it, then I think you're gonna have another dip entry on Lulu. But you can't complain. Like, you know, downward trending stock, you get a 20% bounce, you're happy with it. And sometimes you have to be like that. Ask anybody who was trying to buy dips in UNH if you got greedy with it, right? Like you should be happy when you get these bounces. This went from 250 to 300 to 360. There was a 300 on the weekly, I think, or something like that, which actually got a good one as well on the weekly on UNH, where you had this nice little entry off the 300 level and it went to 380. You take those. You take that 20, 30% when you get it on a downward trending stock. So Lulu Lock going to be at stake. That'll be the one of the most interest to me because it was a successful swing once. It can be again, but don't assume it's going to bounce.
We have some problems. Yeah, there goes Swarmer.
Can't go for
finally halting. Looks like to the downside. Looks like we got a little bit of a down halt right here as well. So it has halted in the past, right? I mean, obviously it was a big halter today, but I mean to the downside. So last time it halted down, looks like that was at 12:10. It doesn't open up till 12:20. So for some reason, that's a 10-minute halt right there. Opens up and then basically just goes again to the upside, then halts upside. Then cracks without a halt. I don't know why that didn't halt there. And then it just works its way up. Next down halt, bought up again. Next down halt right there, bought up again to ahead of the halt. Third, I don't know, maybe not third, multiple halts right now, seeing what it's going to do right here at $33. So now the halt is on. The heat is on right now for Swarmer as that's going. I just wanted to say, and is Adara? Oh, Adara just left. Damn it. When she gets back, I'm going to have her do just a little quick recap on SoFi. There's a lot of people asking about SoFi right now, and you know, the Muddy Waters came out with their report, so maybe we don't necessarily need Adara here, but just if she had found anything interesting that we don't know about.
You can drop the link again.
Yeah, we could drop the link, but it's recovered all the way back. Like this was down 7%. So it's gone up straight in a straight line down pretty much. It's actually almost even straighter upside, to be honest with you. We did have a little bump there to go back up. The first time we went down to 1660, we bumped all the way back to 1730 and then had second round two fight down there. And then boom, right back up there into 1750. And that's where we are now for SoFi. So we'll drop that. Neil just dropped it in. You guys can go grab that on X. And the reason why I wanted to ask Adara was, and I know you have your Twitter up as well, but like if there was a response from SoFi, I guess there wasn't, but all the way back to the upside. We took advantage of this trade there and took Robinhood. I mean, we were just lucky that the futures came down. Well, actually, what time was that? That was 2. So 2 o'clock, yeah, so there's the futures downside. So this was more of a move that we just hit the market and Robinhood went with it. So, you know, that was probably a little silly to equate one to the other, but we just want to take advantage of that because we saw this kind of sharp move, and it was only 40 cents. So I said, you know what, man, Robinhood's a $77 stock. If there's a leak here in the report about the industry or something like that, fintech, we'll take Robinhood. Lucky enough to get that, but hey, man, luck is what we're doing right there. You like that round 2 fight reference there, Dave Clark? Man, I'm willing to deal with anybody in Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, any of those games.
One of them's getting, Street Fighter's getting, the movie's getting.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Like,
what's his name is Guile, Cody Rhodes.
What's his name again? Yeah,
Yeah, from the American Nightmare there in WWE. Okay.
The remake of the other Mortal Kombat sucked. They remade that maybe it was more than a couple of years ago, but it stunk.
I'm hearing something about NVIDIA in my ear here. So it is starting to go. Like, look at the level 2, right? This is why I always have it up on other screens, is because all of a sudden you could just see, like, look at that spike right there to 60, right back in again. So let's take some out. I'm not hearing anything, but when you see that, and all of a sudden I can just see some levitations start to happen here, it's a good indicator that obviously something is going down with NVDA. So we'll take out a little bit more. I now have about 5%. Oh, here it is. Oh, they're now receiving purchase orders from China. That's allowed?
Well, getting orders and actually
filling them is a different
because we've heard this before. We've heard orders and demand. We haven't actually heard of any filling of said orders through. So
maybe not nothing there. But anyways, there goes NVIDIA. I'm just happy to get out of what we did there on NVDA, and we'll just work it from there, right? And so we'll see if there is going to be a trade alert here on NVDA. And for me right now, no, it's kind of just a flat one here. So we'll wait and see what happens with NVDA here. Just trying to hold the bid and see if there's any sort of meaningful trade here with those purchase orders and whatnot coming through. So, yeah, again, they have to be fulfilled, right? So, okay, AMD may be moving around as well on something similar. No, still down 0.16% here. Nebius probably at its lows. I think it's a lot of okay, they're downside. So remember, I was looking to short Oracle if we're going to talk about data centers. I did like the Oracle short, and just unfortunately got stopped out there. 156, it's at 153.60 right now, so we lose 250. So we'll face slap that one and say, bad, man, should have stayed in on that. But we didn't, so okay, that's fine. And then I think CoreWeave, like if Nebius is gonna, oops, see this happened to me last week.
Oh, look at their
CRWV, it's not even showing up in the
what?
In the thing. This happened to me last week. All right, there's CoreWeave.
That's kind of weird.
We can check out what's going on here. CoreWeave probably downside as well. Yeah, with Nebius. So, you know, very similar. I don't know enough about the businesses, why one's better than the other. And then there's SWMR is now open right here as well. And okay, so it actually is not the be-all, end-all. It halts there at 33.50. Looks like it gives you, or 350 or so, gives you an opportunity to get out. I mean, even now you can get out right there. So I like this stock here. Maybe it goes higher. I mean, it's not tanking, so I don't know. But remember, the spread on this thing, right, is already $1 and change sometimes when it opens up, even more than that. So there it is. Like there was just $2 for a second. So if you're swiping the bid, just be careful, because as Dora knows, swiper no swiping. And you got to be very, very careful with taking out those bids because the next level down could be a dangerous one. So yeah, there it goes, downside here for SWMR.
All right. Carl's, that's super chat of the day. Well played. Well played. And you're Canadian too. Thank you for the super chat. Muddy Waters, 1956 hit song, Got My Mojo Working. You got the Got My Noto working. Although I guess Muddy Waters is saying it's not working, or that Noto and executives are working you. That would be the claim that they're making. But yeah, that's a good
That's a good one, yep.
Got My Mojo Working. We had some more news coming from Adara. Let's go right to the desk.
Yeah, we know we're hearing here from NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. I do have some more specific comments, though. Again, they're receiving purchase orders from Chinese customers, and they're also in the process of restarting their manufacturing for the H200 China chips. According to Christina Parts-Novelos of CNBC, who is at this event, it's actually going to be news for them, but it's going to be different than it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So it seems like this is like breaking news. He said their current condition is that their supply chain is, quote, getting fired up, and, quote, all of you will likely start to hear about that. So again, we have Jensen Huang saying not only are we starting up this production, but people are going to hear more about it pretty soon, because this is like brand new for them. Back to you.
Oh, we got another super chat, and appreciate it.
Super chats popping.
Yeah, we've got Nick W with one and Danny's Boy with another. We can throw them up there, Andre, if you got it. So Nick Dubs first. We love the swing trade set up on Serve with, hey, we hadn't heard as much from the robotics names that you would like to think, especially out of this NVIDIA event. With consolidation on the trend line, would love to hear your thoughts on Serve Robotics. So let's throw it up. Obviously, we're going to look at a daily chart here. That'll be even better. Oh, that just reminded me. Someone asked me about Lily, and I didn't actually get to the answer. Look, it's a setup on Serve. I'd almost call it more not a trend line break. This is a support, it's a support line at the 90. Like I would almost think if you're looking at the trend, like you can slap something on. I mean, I could draw that for you if you wanted to do that. But like from the big peak highs, it's not really approaching it yet. If anything, this is just has a support at $9. You could call that accumulation as well. Somebody seems to like buying it up down there. But yeah, I don't see you breaking any real trend. 50 and 200 period moving average on the daily, maybe a month, unless I'm looking at the wrong time frame for you there. But it would have to do some really, really big work to break that downtrend. I like the support that's in there. And we have another super chat if we can throw it up. I believe we had Danny's Boys. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day to you as well. Take this $10 and buy yourselves 4 shares of Clover Health in the long-term account. And I love that you said $10 because that's what a SPAC is. At the beginning, you get $10. And I'm going to remind everybody of something. If you believe in a SPAC for whatever reason, and you invest, like Chamath just had a new one, I forget the ticker, I can look it up for you if anybody actually cares. I think a couple of months ago, he had a new one come out at $10. Remember with a SPAC, if you buy it thinking this person is going to find the greatest acquisition and it's going to go 10x or whatever, when they make that acquisition, if you don't like the company that they end up combining with, you can get your $10 back. That's how it works. And sometimes that's not a bad proposition. You can believe, it's one thing to believe in an idea, but when you're confronted then with now they've made the purchase, if you don't like it, you can get out and you can get your money. And look, if it took 8 months and you lost, you could have put that into money markets and actually gotten something out of it, but it's better than getting rinsed. You do have an option. It's built into the back. I don't think that's something that people were using very often when these combinations were made. But yeah, Clover, I don't know. What
no, I was going to say, I mean, Clover is just
$2?
Yeah, that's why he was saying buy 4 shares because 5 shares, if the math is right there. Yeah, this is like, so I was in this name and got out. I got out in here somewhere. It must have been in this area. I think it was right before this bigger run. Yeah, so I'm thinking, I mean, I don't know where I got out, but I'm pretty sure it was, I don't know the time, but it was 3:30, something like that, in and around here. We did not, I think it was in this run here, because it went all the way up, came back down, then on the way back up, I think this is where I sort of emptied out a little, or all of them on Clover, and then it ripped higher, and I was like, nah. And then now it's just like, okay, see you later. But yeah, Clover, you might be right onto something here as a stock. I mean, look where this is right here. Good potential for Clover, to be honest with you, coming into play. Like 60 cents was the bottom. You had a run from 60 cents, no split, nothing, all the way to 480. I mean, what a great trade that was. And now you're all the way to the downside. I can't honestly hate
that dollar break
on a trade like that for Clover. I think it might be, you might have had horse sense there on St. Patrick's Day. So, you know, congratulations. It looks like Clover might be a good-looking trade right there. SWMR. I just want to check out SWMR one more time. So there it is, man. Right back up. We talked about that, you know, potentially holding the bid. Now, it got as low as $30, but I thought it would have tanked a lot more on its very first day IPO and everyone's still holding the shares. The fact that this is still going higher, definitely someone doing a good job. Good job underwriters here on SWMR. All right, Charizard, no, CHRD, I don't know what that is. WLK, pot of gold at the end of these rainbows. So yeah, we can have a quick look at some of these names, of course.
Cord Energy?
Yes.
The stock has done
What is
666,000 shares of volume today.
Okay,
That's
so about
ominous,
that
man.
one.
That's just, okay, now there was just another print, so I don't want to see the 666. That's pretty ominous. And WK, don't know that one, pot of gold, Diana Rainbows, but it is an energy name. Man, that was a monthly chart of Clover, not looking too good. But I don't know, we talked about this when Ryan was on. You were looking at things that were, it's like guilty until proven innocent. Well, downward trend, guilty, guilty, guilty. There's it reclaiming both moving averages. There's it breaking out. So this is something that's actually reversed a trend. In the right, like you're going to be in the right space if you happen to be in energy right now. And it's a clear reversal of trend. You can see the increasing volume into it. I think when you're looking at stocks that have been beaten up for a while, you don't have to have the low. You don't have to have the low. You don't have to have the low. Look at how solid this is. Get above the moving average. Break out above the moving. Not enough to just eke over the moving average. Show that you can hold, consolidate, and then break out. That's at $105, and it happened on like literally 3 weeks ago. And it's now like 20% higher from there. And you can then hold that to a major moving average. You don't have to have that bottom or guess at when it's going to be. All that said, with regard to Clover, I only find that jokes. I was saying, you might have heard me out of my breath say that was a good dollar break. Because look at the monthly chart. When it goes penny stock, there's something to be said about holding the $0.50 and breaking the even. And, you know, I started as trading penny stocks as a day trader. So, like, some of the first, like, shot plays I ever made in the stock market that weren't just buying boring good companies were all on penny stocks that did things similar to this, where you just take shots at them. When they find that distinct double bottom, you could do worse than double bottoming at 50 or 60 cents, taking a dollar break as a shot. Just understand that when you make that play, if your stop is at 60 cents on a dollar break, you are risking 40% of what you put into it. Right? So you need a double up or a triple up to make it make sense. I still think Clover might be trending to the downside. And only because I was like saying it, so I would look it up just to see how it's doing. The most recent, everyone believing in Chamath, SPAC, they don't even have a combination that I'm aware of, and it's already twice gone up 20%. So you get your $10. Like you could have got this SPAC for $10 because you believed in Chamath, and you could have already made your 20% without the combination. I feel like if that ever happened to me, I would just take that money. Like you're telling me 3 weeks after you got 20%. These things can take months or years before they actually get some kind of a deal here.
Yeah,
and he like it's just like so he's aiming to get into AI, defense, energy, or DeFi. Like it's aiming to, like who knows what combination will actually get made. Not a lot of SPACs will even give you the opportunity to make money before they make a deal. That's all. Early look on the imbalances, because some people ask. BMNR, 1.5 million. For anyone that's new, BMNR shows up almost every single day on the imbalances. If it's over like 2 or 3 million, I think that would mean a heck of a lot more than this 1.5 million. It doesn't seem to move off it too much. Pfizer, 1.4 million to the buy side. Ooh. There's some analysts that have liked that one a little bit better recently. Comp, 1.1 million sell. Snapchat, 1 million to the buy. Nothing too crazy early, but in 10 minutes we'll get them for real. The other day we had NU that had a decent enough move on it, but I'm not seeing anything that stands out. We'll look at BMNR. It's worth it. I mean, it's a sell imbalance and it is heading down. So this could be one where you get like a flip. It comes out as that sell, and then maybe flips to a buy, and then you can play it off the low of the day here. That could be a trade in the next 10 minutes. Adara?
Given the glut of headlines we've had today, I thought it might be appropriate to do a news roundup for some of the biggest headlines this afternoon. I'm going to start here with TTD. Now, the trade desk was already dropping for about half an hour before we realized what had even happened here. Turns out the reason that TTD dropped was because there was an article put out here by Ad Age suggesting that Publicis, which is a major advertiser, had basically said, hey, we did an audit and we're no longer going to be recommending TTD for some of these customers in the digital media space. So TTD losing a pretty big recommendation, again, according to a report, sending the stock to the downside. SOFI actually recovering really nicely off these lows, but around 2 p.m., Muddy Waters publishes a short report about SOFI, first on their website, then on social media, sending SoFi to the downside. Again, basically comparing them to Enron when it comes to some of their accounting. So interesting look. And last but not least, the GTC 2026 conference continues. The keynote's over, but the headlines are just beginning, or so it seems, with Jensen Huang announcing just about 5 to 10 minutes ago that the company is actually already seeing some orders and licenses come in for their China chips. And as such, they're going to be restarting that manufacturing for the H200 chip in China. Jensen also indicated we're going to continue to see these headlines because this is an ever-evolving situation. Right now, we're going to evolve back to the guys.
It is interesting because Snapchat actually ends up on that list of the names being mentioned. This is the second day in a row that it's had a buy and bounce, for what it's worth. Right. It was a million buy yesterday. It's a million buy today. Maybe somebody's onto something here. Not that it's not moving the stock, but if you look at it, you got this little spike on the mention from Jensen yesterday at about, I guess it was like 30 minutes into it when it got the spike. But if you look at it at the end of the day, it didn't really do much. It was already back at the highs and kind of reverted the move. But I'd say it's a little different if it has a buy and bounce, kind of like BMNR. When you have those imbalances and you're close to a high or a low, it gets a little more interesting because then you can look for that either bounce here if that imbalance grows, or reversion play. I'm kind of hoping BMNR will be a flip. So those are the two names I'll have up, unless something else pops in out of nowhere. Oh, there's going to be at the end of this week, there's a few, I don't know, the Nasdaq 100 has some reweighting at the end of the week. Intel and Micro and MSTR are expected to be buys at the end of the week. So you might see those pop up later on in the week. It's still pretty early. So BMNR I'll be watching going into these imbalances in 8 minutes. I know it's a sell imbalance, but I'm not looking for the sell. Like I'm looking for this to get driven down to the low of the day. And then if I see it like start to like go from like 2 million to 1 million, like something distinct, like something big. It doesn't have to flip outright, but if it gets like cut in half or it does flip, look to grab the long off the low of the day on BMNR. So 7 minutes or 8 minutes until the imbalances come live officially at 350. Yeah. For now, we're just looking at the early look. I've seen this a few times, Grunfeld mentioning Netflix is having a bad day.
Is it? I mean, they faded off that $100 marker. It hasn't.
Yeah, we couldn't come up with a reason why it was so bad it was yesterday, I think, when it turned around, or even at any point. But it could just be technically this $100. It got there, like it bounced decently off the 80 level to give you 20%. I was just saying with some of these downward trending stocks, you get a bounce at 20%, you should be happy with it. I didn't take it out because I didn't buy the dip on Netflix to be short-term play personally. But you could do a heck of a lot worse than if sold in front of that 100 level. It hasn't fallen apart though. I just wanted to point out this 15. as long as it holds here about 93.80 or 94 bucks, which is where it's bouncing now, I kind of feel like Netflix is still giving you a bit of a consolidation off this top. If we lose 94 tomorrow, lose this bid tomorrow, you got like $3-4 worth of downside on Netflix. So yeah, it's on the radar. I don't know how they did it. I have no idea how they did at the Oscars, whether...
I don't think they're...
Yeah, how
It was tied for their best year ever at the Oscars. So they were nominated for 18 different nominations across their films. I think it was across 6 films, 18 nominations, 7 wins. So that's more than a 33% success rate, more than 1 in 3. And it also ties their best year ever at the Oscars, which I believe was 2021, where they were 35 nominations, 7 wins.
So I can't think of any movie other than K-pop Demon Hunter, but that one crushed.
Frankenstein did really well in special effects and behind the scenes. That's the other thing.
Is that an animated one too?
No, that was live
wa-
action, but they did really well with makeup.
Okay. So
you watch it, Adara?
Oh, okay. Okay, good. All right, so here we go, man. A little bit of a face slap because we're still in NVIDIA as it's coming back down in, still that dollar winner, and just capturing profits on the way back in, man. We made a move up to VWAP there. Just there's a bunch of talk about what Jensen's all about right now. And it's just, to me, was like enough to sort of keep me away here from that name. So from averaging into it, obviously we're still in the name, but we did not want to take it too short there in case there was more news about that H200 or 100, whatever it is, being available into China. Oh, Adara, now that you're back, hi, how's it going? I wanted to ask you more about SoFi because they made a complete recovery all the way back. So
I think it's just a lot of investors on social media are just, they don't want to listen or follow this report at all. I think it's just a lot of stubbornness is what I'm seeing. People are like, oh, they don't understand. Oh, this is such a bad report. Oh, just wait till Anthony Noto denies it. That's really what I'm seeing. For the record, like it's a pretty political report. There's a lot of data involved. I want to take some more time to study it. I tried to read through it during my break, but truthfully, I was like also eating, so wasn't able to give it my full attention. But yeah, it's a lot of like, it sounds kind of like what I did with Oracle. They went through the reports, they saw stuff they didn't like.
what do you think about the chicken from lunch today?
The chicken?
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Me too.
There were pieces that were like, I don't know if they were like food, like they were like
Oh, you didn't get
bone-ish.
enough?
I got so
But-
little. It was delicious.
Yeah, I got a small serving too, but what I did have was really good. The mashed potatoes, I did not love.
No,
It was delicious, but like you can't tell me it was no, not the mashed potatoes, the chicken. But you can't tell me there was enough chicken. It was like the
Neil, I just
smallest
I
portion
went back
we've
and got
ever-
more, you know?
Well, you can go.
It's
Yeah,
Captain Protein.
it's the
told me.
smallest amount that they've ever given on that plate.
Yeah, it was like a little bowl. It was true.
But it was delicious.
It was, but it was delicious. That's what I was going to ask you guys. It was a very. Sometimes we give, the caterer a little bit of a rough time.
this one's like an 8.
But today was great.
Yeah, it's an
Where's
8.
Joe?
8.
Joe,
Oh
lunch.
no, don't even. I just saw his look.
we gave it a high on that one. Neil gave it an 8, and I'm like at a 7. I'm like at a 7.7. 6.3.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, but he's
Whoever marries Joe or anything like that isn't a huge problem because like I don't know how they're going to cook
The
for this
standards
guy.
are very high.
Very, very high standards, which is a good thing to have. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Right now, I'm never going to bring
Your scale is your scale, though.
I'm never bringing him in any of Marissa's dishes because I'm going to fight the guy. You don't even have your mic on. Do you have your mic? Yeah.
Okay, so here's what Joe's saying. By the way, BMNR paired off, or before the imbalance came out, it disappeared. So 3 minutes until the imbalances came out, BMNR was 2 million to the sell side. It's now not there anymore. It could pop back up. So I kind of got in a little bit early off the low, but I'm going to throw a stop at this local bottom here, like 23.10. If I see it pop up a sell again, I might punch out. But I like the fact that it disappeared. And so Joe was sort of saying, like, what's your scale? This is in the grand scheme of things. No, I'm rating apples to apples. Like I'm taking all of the food that I've had from all the caterers here. And ranking it against that.
Okay, so based on
I'm not grading them against like gourmet restaurants or anything. Like apples to apples.
Good. Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify because when you were gone, Neil, I'm like, hey, is this like on the grand scheme of all restaurants you're giving some of these ratings like 8? No, it's based off of the caterer's food, so I can understand the 8. If that's going to be the case, I'll bump my 6.3 up to a 6.7. 6.7.
So to me, when we're rating jerk chicken, we rate it based on not the caliber that they're giving us. And this is where it's different than what we just discussed. I'm rating it based on how good I think the jerk chicken is to the jerk chicken. The best jerk chicken I've ever had would be a 10, let's just say. And then I go down from there. I say, like, this is half.
Have you been to Jamaica?
No.
Okay,
Me?
Yeah, because it'd be like a 1 relative.
No, I'm just saying.
Rate a 10 on a jerk chicken.
No, I don't. I'm just saying if what I'm saying is as a baseline, if the best barbecue chicken there is this happy for you, so you don't have to worry about where I've been. If the best barbecue chicken is a 10, and then they give barbecue chicken, and I think it's like half of that, then I give it a 5.
Okay.
That's like I'm rating it against the world here, not against the caterer.
That's insane.
If this was against the world, I'd give this closer to like a 7 something then.
I can respect Neil's
because
higher
I don't remember the
rating
braised
now if he's basing it off the caterer, but if you're actually looking at the whole, like you go to a restaurant down the street or in Rexdale and you're like, hey, this jerk chicken's like a 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
I'm like, brother, I don't know. I don't know.
My aunt's jerk chicken is like a 9. Is like a multiple better than what we get from the But that's what you'd expect. You have to remember, if it's spicy food and any caterer, they have to make it so that it appeals to everybody. So when it's an unfair comparison because there's no way that you could make real jerk chicken and expect to serve it to an office. It's just not fair.
But
that's like comparing SoFi to NVIDIA. You just can't.
Today
do
we
it.
had
Not
braised
fair.
chicken, right? I'm not going to say like this braised chicken is better than the last braised chicken they gave us. I can't remember what the last braised chicken.
No, but I wouldn't. I'm comparing it to all of their meals, not just like the chicken to the chicken.
All their meals, yeah. That makes
yeah, like this is an 8 relative to all the meals they've done.
But as soon as we step outside of this office, I think it's very, very difficult to give it an 8 rating. You know what I mean? Or an 8.2 or something along those lines.
I think that's the best thing we should do is rate it against the typical meal that we get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As long as
so it doesn't even matter what it is.
Then
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Right. It's like if we get chili tomorrow, you say it was a 6 compared to today's.
Like Katina, man, and you may think this is somewhat of a hot take.
By the way, Imbalances are out.
I personally think that the spaghetti and meatballs is one of the better dishes here. And I would put that.
The only problem is the meatballs aren't cooked the greatest here. But okay, here we go. The imbalances are out. We cover our NVIDIA, and there it is, man. Get into the gates of hell, NVIDIA. Great cover there at the end of the day. There goes NVIDIA. Nothing but love on the talk for food, but it's NVIDIA downside right now as those imbalances hit, and just going to make me feel worse and worse that I'm not still short Meta or Oracle right there. But yeah, nice downside play. And there it is, man. We wash our hands of NVIDIA with a huge short today. I hope you guys had this during the afternoon trade. Bye-bye, NVIDIA. What up, Adara?
What's up here is news on NVIDIA. We did have some more comments. These are a couple of minutes old now during the chicken chats. But NVDA CEO Jensen Huang making more comments saying that moving 40% of Taiwan chip production to the U.S. would be, quote, very difficult. I'm also seeing comments here coming from Wall Street Journal with regards to the Middle East. WSJ, Wall Street Journal, reporting that the Pentagon is looking to mass produce kamikaze attack drones similar to those used by Iran. Back to you.
All right. But who is going to produce them? Tell me who.
We'll go mass produce them.
No, I know who's going to mass produce them. We can think a public company is going to be able to do that. NBIS is the biggest imbalance out here. 3 million to the buy side. Notionally, it's be the biggest as well because it's 115. Yeah, it's because they're down 11%. This is SSR as well. XLF, the ETF. I have not seen that ETF on the imbalance locator. 2.6 million to the buy side. You'll note that BMR did not come out that 2 million sell. So went into the long for the reversion. But this is SSR and NBIS. It did move $1. You just keep in mind from the close, it's down like $17 from yesterday's close. So the dollar is nice, but compared to what it has done on the day, that's a whole lot of nothing for Nebius. What a difference the 2 days make. XLF, I don't know, I haven't looked. Let's see if it's moving on that. No. So XLF, the banks have been taking it on the chin. 2.5 million buys, doing absolutely nothing for that whatsoever. The banks were strong right at 9:30, and I guess that was it. Something very broken. Like there's still a lot of concerns here with the private credit market, and we talk about how the overall market's not that far from the highs. There's lots of things that look pretty strong, lots of uptrends out there. Look at Micron, look at Sandus, they look pretty good. You can't really say that about the banks. They're kind of like that ugly stepbrother you're sweeping away. But I find oftentimes when you bet against them, the good ones tend to be good dip buys. Let's be real. Like, if you all you ever did is buy Morgan and JPM and Goldman when everyone hates them, you'd be doing pretty good in the long run.
Yeah, those stocks are fine. And, much like trading today, we've had some ups and some downs. And, not everyone's going to be green. Not everyone's going to be red. And look at this. It's a very, very mixed board today here. Generally speaking, we've had green, reds, like very, very strong one way. Remember this morning when I said if you're nervous about Eli Lilly, you may want to think about getting out of some Eli Lilly. And there's Eli Lilly. Oops, that's the wrong thing to push over here. I want the stock information. But anyways, Eli Lilly right there, 929. Gave you that out there at 965 earlier this morning. So you could see a little bit of a mixed bag happening there on the broader side of things. But it did draw my attention to Eli Lilly. And I clearly remember this morning when we talked, you can go back to 9 o'clock when we talked about this name. And I was like, this looks like this is going to dip through this level. And it gave you that opportunity here today many times to get out and short through that level for Eli Lilly. And I want to thank Joe. It was a downgrade there today. It caught my attention right there. The Pentagon wants to mass produce kamikaze drones. So that might be an AVAV thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm also seeing Wall Street Journal further reporting. They also reported the kamikaze drones I mentioned a couple minutes ago. But they're also reporting Russia's expanding its support for Iran. They want to keep Iran in the conflict with Israel.
Of course they do. Yeah, of course they do, man.
That's why I was looking for specifically. Like AVAV, like it would make sense that they can benefit from this, but if they don't tell us exactly who would be getting,
I don't think they need to tell us because there it is right there.
They're not they're not like necessarily the only ones. Look, I love AVAV, and I want them to go up, but let's see. We know, but there's two sides of it too, because it's not just the drones themselves. It's also the systems that run them, and then throw in the fact that there's this new defense out there, the whole it's like electromagnetic shield thing. There's like some Dutch company that does it. I don't know of any U.S. publicly listed company that's building these, but I think that's a huge future. If I can find some kind of a publicly traded company that is doing this electromagnetic shield thing, that's gigantic because it would be the cheapest way to be able to combat these things and get them down.
Here's our, I think, I was just joking about Big Bear AI. Hopefully, Big Bear AI does have technology similar. All right, I don't know if you guys, this is not.
They do? Electric?
They do. Big Bear AI has everything and more. There's Obi right there, 16.5%. This man be the winner right now, Obi. And Adara holding fort with our picks. These were made around July 12th or 20th or something, or January 12th. Right there, Adara. Randy with the energy plays. Ramin, welcome back. She's only down 2.5%. There's my guy Joe. He's chilling out right here as well. Here's Neil and I near the lows right now. I'm down 14%. Neil down 17%. And as we were talking, it's just we're going to be first of all, today, Eli, I was actually middle of the pack, and then Eli Lilly today. See ya. That's down 14% since we made that prediction, and of course, at $1,081. There's Big Bear AI down 37%. There's your Aero Environment down 41%. CRISPR, FCX all down as well. Because Joe's sitting here, we'll go over that. Walmart, good look there. JP Morgan, bad luck on JP Morgan and CrowdStrike. I own both of these names, not Walmart, but maybe I should. And Adara's standing back there, so sitting back there. Let's look at hers. Congratulations, she's only been talking about the Oracle short for about $200, so that's a good little play there. Good job on that one. Thank you for saving me all the money that you did, and that's truth. Starbucks, 8.5% up, and Boeing, which we really like, but it's not going. It's going down, but we really like Boeing. And if I reviewed this a couple days ago, of course, it would have been a completely different story. So, there's a little bit of a rundown there. We are going to... Yeah, I did. We did talk about Obi. Obi right here, he's got BW. We talked about that today. BW, a huge stock, 77%. The city is short, and then the circle short. So the shorts are burning him right now, but it's the BW trade for oil. So
another
that's
20. That song's.
Yeah, it's a big one. 77%. They had they got some good deal there from the government on their earnings day. So it was a good little trade there. So yeah, OB right now up 20%, but risky, but hey, that's what you get, right? I mean, good picks there for OB. We talked about those last week with him as well. And there goes Aero Environment. So that's a nice trade there. Back to the upside. We were sitting here last week when they reported, and it was a horrible report. No, it wasn't that bad, but the action.
Oh, the action was bad.
The stock was bad, down to basically two bills down there. Now it's 220, so a little bit of a bounce of 10%.
Well, it's got a double bottom. That's a good.
Yeah, it's a good one. So we'll see what happens there. For
you have to keep in mind, like
environment.
they weren't making money, right? So like that's one of those like shot plays. But it's not like there's defense names. There's defense names that are actually, like consistently profitable. Things like like the Raytheons, Lockheed Martins. That they're much more growthy. That's not really a word, but I don't know a better way to say it. Growthy is the word I'm going to go for it because. Right, like it's just there isn't one. Like they're pre-profitability type of name, which does mean your volatility is going to be much bigger. There's only 1 minute to go. BMNR is not going to get to VWAP, but NVIDIA. When it came out as 2 million sell, it was 2 million to sell previously, and then it came out effectively nothing. There was no imbalance, but didn't really cause too much of a spike. That said, with only 2 minutes, it's worth jumping out of. I think this would be better, maybe if it flips to a buy. Instead of it just being an early look sell and then pairing off, it's probably better if it flips in the other direction and you get more out of it. NBIS completely paired off, all but 1 million shares, but still a buy and balance there for NBIS. Don't really know if it did anything too crazy. Yeah, Nebius. It's been bouncing, so another dollar move. It's still going to be SSR tomorrow because it was down 10% today, but a good little bounce on the imbalance locator here for NBIS. So that ends up being a good one if you took it off that 350 move and then staying as well. But remember, that's going to get all paired off in just about 30 seconds with the market close.
Yeah, exactly. And good day today. We see the Nasdaq still up 0.4, so we like that. 0.45 there for Nasdaq. 0.24 for the ES, so some good opportunities there. Bitcoin nicely traded as well. You can see Bitcoin, I'll just check what IBIT is, just to give you the kind of day that it's been having. IBIT only up 1%, but you can see crypto at 74.5 with only 15 seconds left. Pretty good day. Obviously, NVIDIA there just kept on dripping down the whole afternoon, and we were able to take advantage of some of those plays. We'll see tomorrow's trade with NVIDIA will be a pretty hot one for sure. 3, 2, and 1. And there we go. So tonight we've got Lululemon, we've got Oklo, and there was DocuSign. So yeah,
the only one we didn't talk about
pretty decent names to report. Lululemon, I think, will probably be one of the bigger nightmares out of all of those names. I just don't know what's going on there on the retail side of things. We see Nike downside, so I think
Nike's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I own a little bit of Lulu. We were able to get some out there near that 220, believe it or not. And then we have OKLO. I think they're supposed to be a little late, so I'm not expecting anything from them right away. Was it 4? Yeah. Oh, okay, so maybe Oklo comes right now, and then Lululemon. 160, and again, they had the nice little run up as well. So we'll wait to trade. Huge move down there at the end of the day. I don't know if you saw that, but there's the 220 area because we had bought last time earnings was down here, and now we're below. So should be an interesting report here for Lulu. Look at it fall off right there near the end of the day. So waiting for that report to come out with Oklo as well. So nothing for now, but make sure you do join us tomorrow. And you can join us everywhere, man. We're on TikTok, we're on Rumble, we're here on YouTube. Hopefully, I don't know if we're up yet, but Instagram Live, and there's a whole bunch of different places. Yeah. So TikTok, Twitter even has a live feed.
And it was getting tested, Ramin was testing them all out to make sure they all look and sound fantastic, just like normal. But let's be real, you can always also find us right here every single day because we don't miss a beat. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're Trader TV Live, everybody. And thank you to all those participating in the chat. We love you. We should have put a poll up, which one we think is going to do the best. When you have 3, everyone loves picking a bottom. All 3 of these names are in a downward trend. So pick your poison, DocuSign, Oklo, or Lululemon, which one you like to the long side. I can't stand any of them tonight, I'll be honest with you. If there was a none of the above, I'm not incredibly bullish on all. There is a bit of a small move on Oklo, although the numbers aren't out.
Nothing going on. All right, it's 4:02. All right, decent day today. We will see everybody tomorrow, man. Lots of trades happened today. We got some big winners. Stopped out of some other ones. We got the great news from SoFi. Not great news, but great trading opportunity from SoFi there. We'll have some good reports tomorrow to talk about as well. So thanks, Brendo, everybody today. Ramin, Fabian, Andre over there. Joe's right here as well. I see what you got ready to go over there, Joe. Do you know yesterday was 316? Yeah, we didn't talk about that enough. So thanks to Joe, thanks to Sharif over there. Right now, Sharif ate all the chicken. So.
Oh, also, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and a good thank you to Adara as well. Hit the music. We're out of here.